chat. So we booted up the Cloud OBS server, and the Cloud OBS server was not happy. Yeah, the audio was forward of the stream. The audio was coming through before us. So how is this now, y'all? Let's see here. We just basically rebooted everything. Is that better? Just gotta do the technical checks. Saber, when we get over here, you may have to bump the level of the audio. We'll get more background noise. Yep. And I believe I have the wind cut off right now, so we might need that on. Perfect, 5x5, all right. It's within family. Excellent. It's within family. So y'all, we're at another place today. We were gonna go over to the airfield, but the airfield is basically shut down. Yesterday, the weather was a complete wreck. And I don't believe they're letting anybody go out to the plains, doing anything like that today over at the Con Airport. Right. So I'm here, I'm Das, we continue our virtual field trip. I'm talking faster than usual because we have a special guest. This is JDK Winnigan. He's not the special guest, he's been with us all week. Behind us is the Pegasus Bridge, which was a massive objective for the paratroopers during the D-Day offensive. Yeah, the British paratroopers. The British paratroopers. So when we saw the paratroopers over at Drop Zone K, they dropped in Drop Zone K like we saw a couple of days ago, and they pushed towards this bridge to secure this bridge. This was the major line, I think, that they were trying to stop the Germans from encroaching on one of the flanks of the D-Day invasion, right?
The Orne River was a natural barrier, and they wanted to grab this bridge to prevent the Germans from being able to use it to reinforce the Normandy beach area.
Absolutely. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna walk and talk because we have somebody over here to talk with us. Yeah. Make sure the lower third is okay and everything like that. Pegasus Bridge objective is good, I guess, for now. When we get up here, we might actually want to collapse the lower third. But let's go find a DC3 girl who has found a guest for us. That's actually cool. If anybody's wondering where we are, you can also say that on the lower third. And I think there's something about Operation Dead Stick around here. We'll have JDK. JDK, you know about Operation Dead Stick?
Not off the top of my head. Not
off the top. All right, we'll learn about Operation Dead Stick as we sort of go here. There she is right there. All right. We're moving. Recording?
Yeah.
Hold on, we're just gonna jump right into it. So this is Norwood.
We rewrite a little bit.
Sir.
And his son Steve.
Norwood Thomas.
Norwood Thomas.
Right. I'm Steve Thomas.
Steve, nice to meet you. My name's John.
Nice to meet you, sir.
Yes.
My pleasure.
Thanks for your service.
Absolutely.
You are?
Nice to meet you. I'm JD Winnigan.
Okay. JD, John, JD, and
Jay.
Jay. Okay.
We keep it easy. Yeah. We keep it easy.
And Julia.
And Julia. Okay. My first wife was named Julia.
We're the 4 J's.
We're the 4 J's.
Yeah.
So he was just.
I'm going to give it real quick because we have a bus.
Yeah, they have to catch a bus in a minute.
Okay. We're from Virginia Beach, Virginia.
Excellent.
Dad served in the Second War. Obviously, he jumped in Normandy, landed at 1:23 in the morning.
Wow.
He was actually 5 hours before the beach assaults. He was actually in the very plane that General Anthony McAuliffe was in.
Okay.
And Anthony McAuliffe went about 2 or 3, he believes, in front of him. And it was his first night jump. For most of them, it was their first night jump. That was for Normandy, and then in September 17th, he was climbing into a Waco CG-4A cargo glider, troop cargo glider, and going into Holland for Market Garden.
Wow.
3 months after that, he was in a Jeep and on foot going into a place called Bastogne for Battle of the Bulge.
Wow.
And there he was injured. He was in a Jeep sitting in the back with another guy and 4 in there, and they don't know if they hit a mine or artillery fire, but the Jeep went airborne and flipped, threw everybody out, and killed one guy, and he suffered a bad back injury. Of course, when they went into Bastogne, the Germans had captured their medical group, so he woke up, but the next day was it? And down in the cellar of a church where a nun was treating his wounds and stuff.
Wow.
And about a week later, they put him back out on the line, and he continued on.
Our medical unit.
They captured the entire unit?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
The hospital unit with all the equipment and all the surgeons.
Wow.
So we were in Bastogne with each battalion had a doctor.
Right.
And then we had our individual unit aid men. Well, our aid men became surgeons.
How old were you?
21.
21.
21.
21.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Now, something interesting about him also is that he was born on Friday the 13th, October 1922. At 88 years old, he said, "Steve, I'm going to start a bucket list." He's 96 now.
Wow.
So, but he said, "Steve, I want to start a bucket list." And something he's always wanted to do is that he hasn't done it since June 6, 44, is to jump out of an airplane again. So at 88, he started skydiving.
Wow.
Instead of going out at 800 feet, he goes out at 14,000 feet.
Sure.
Wow.
Now,
Give yourself a lot of distance now.
now,
Multiple jumps.
now it is tandem,
Yes.
but because of the age and insurance and regulations and stuff.
Absolutely.
But he does that every birthday since that
Oh,
time.
that's
Wow.
great.
Yeah, so he,
Wow.
he just did his last one this past October at 96 years old, and he'll be doing his 97th birthday this coming October.
This coming
That's
October.
amazing.
Wow. That's amazing.
The second thing on his bucket list, and we tried to do it, but they ended up stopped doing it. There's a bridge in West Virginia, is it?
Yeah.
Great Gorge River Bridge.
Yeah.
And they do bungee jumping. He wanted a bungee jump.
That's fun. I've done that.
Wow.
Well, he wanted to do that, but they stopped that. We found out actually 2 or 3 years earlier, but every year they would kind of converge on this area and close down the roads, and they'd have a weekend of just bungee jumping. But
I never bungee
Never got to
Never
bungee
bungee
jump.
jump.
Well, maybe we can find some place for you.
I might.
yeah.
Absolutely.
But in his civilian life, for a hobby, he became a pilot and flew for a hobby. I followed his footsteps, and he flew till he was 85.
What
Wow.
did you fly?
It's a private aircraft.
What kind?
Well, Cessnas and Pipers. Yeah.
I'm okay with the Pipers. The Cessnas, I'm a little iffy on. But
She flew Cubs.
She
Oh,
flew
well,
Cubs.
I got my private in a J3 Cub.
In the
There you go.
Well, I got mine in a J5, so I
Oh,
had the
oh.
upgraded version.
He owned a J5.
Did you really?
Yes, he did.
Yeah,
There
for
are
one day.
So for one,
For one day. Yeah,
one day?
Yeah, hear what happened.
One day.
Hear what
what
happened.
happened?
Hurricane Hazel came along and took this.
He bought it in the afternoon, and this was back in the 50s, and you didn't have satellite, weather and stuff.
Right,
So
right.
No.
somebody said a storm is coming, but we didn't know it was that bad, or he didn't know it was that bad.
Sure.
And so he signed the papers that afternoon. He'd flown the airplane before he bought it because he'd been flying it all along. He bought it that afternoon, and the next morning, Hurricane Hazel hit, 12 hours later, and crumpled the wings on it and everything.
But you know,
It was a J5 Cub.
It was
Yeah.
a J.
Insurance?
Well, and
No, not
No
back in those
insurance.
days.
No,
Not
not
in
in
those
the
days.
50s.
Yeah.
Well, and the
gone.
J5, of course, for the people who don't know, was the family version.
Yeah,
So
the-
you were supposed to be able to fit two. I don't know
family
how.
cruiser, they called it.
I don't know what
family-
size those people were
Yeah.
to get
Yeah.
two of them in the back
Yeah.
seat.
Wow.
And it could take, ours was 10 pounds of luggage. You could fit your fishing poles in the back of it, but that was the entire luggage container.
10 pounds.
10 pounds.
Yeah.
But it had the 85 horsepower engine, not
He
just
had,
that
he,
luggage.
had, he had a 75.
Oh, you had to.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
so-
We souped ours up.
Yeah.
You know.
But
It was
uh,
also the
then
80s, so.
when I first flew the Super Cruiser,
yeah, it was
I
a
thought
big,
that was heaven. Man.
yeah,
That
yeah.
thing was like a
Bigger
Cadillac.
engine, yeah, nice. He became he eventually on the GI Bill became a flight instructor.
Oh, that's
Instrument
great.
rating, multi-engine,
Very
Wow.
good.
and he did that for a while and flew a company plane, a Beach Baron for a while.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he did that. He enjoyed that.
I've enjoyed life.
You really have
really
done a
have.
lot
Yes.
of things.
I enjoyed life.
And one of the things that you were saying when we first got here was how difficult it was for you to get back into civilian life.
Oh yeah.
And I was saying I can't imagine what that must have been like for all of you, but we can't thank you enough for what you did and
Jack,
for your
you know what to
service.
We
Yeah,
survived.
you did survive, and you did amazing things, and you truly inspire. We have a whole audience watching us that will
Around
help
the
it'll
world.
better understand
There's
what it
people
was you
around the
went
world
through.
watching.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'll throw something else in there right quick.
Sure.
Please do.
About 3 years ago, we were in Virginia Beach, and Dad received a telephone call when we were going through a Home Depot, hardware store. And basically, what it was a reporter from the local pilot, the Virginian pilot, talking to Dad, and he had followed us over to Normandy before, so we knew him quite well. And he knows about Dad's skydiving jumps and stuff. And he says that. He said, my manager gave me a piece of paper saying that there's this woman in Australia and she believes you are her boyfriend. from England for 44.
71 years ago.
Yeah.
Wait, no, is this the story somebody was just?
I don't know, because I'm
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. We'll go back to it.
So what happened is that the reporter, Mike Hicksonball was his name. He gave us the email address, and I contacted the son of this woman. That they are now living in Australia, and so we exchanged emails on a rate of something like 3 each a day for about a week and a half. And I told, his name was Rob, and I told Rob, I said, have you ever Skyped before? In the email, and he said he hadn't. I said I hadn't either. I said we set up our computers, and we Skyped, and we called in the local TV news that covered his skydiving jumps and stuff, and they said, yeah, we want to cover this, and they did the same thing in Australia.
Yeah.
And so we did it. We thought it was going to be big news for the local area for about 3 or 4 days, and that'd be the end of it. Well, what we weren't prepared for, it went viral, went around the world. And so he was holding Kathy Lee and CBS Evening News, and went on and on and on. And so what happened from there is that there was a girl, Caitlin Novell is her name, and she worked for a public relations firm in Los Angeles. And she saw the article in the LA Times about two World War II loves talking and stuff like that. So she contacted the people she represents, which was Air New Zealand Airlines.
Right.
And they gave us a round trip ticket, first class, to Australia and back.
Oh my
I got to spend 2 wonderful weeks with the first great love of my life.
Oh, wow. So amazing.
That's incredible.
And I'm not kidding. I was walking yesterday and talking to people, and someone said, did you hear that the man is here that was in that story?
Yeah,
and I said,
you're right.
what story?
Oh.
And they
heard this.
and they were talking about you. Yesterday.
Okay.
I remember
Yes. Right.
when it
Yeah.
happened. That's-
Your ears were burning, I guess.
Yeah.
You have an email address on
I
there?
do, and that's
Okay.
my personal email address,
That's
and that's my
amazing.
work
So,
email address.
DC3girl
Yep,
at
that's it. Yeah,
yahoo.com.
that's
First
me.
time you've been back here since?
No.
No,
you've
he's
been back
come
a
back.
few times. Okay.
Yeah,
We've been back here once before, but we've been in Normandy. This is what time, Steve? 4 or 5?
we're the other people. We're going to make it. We got 5 more minutes.
Oh.
We have to make it that way.
That way, good.
He was here, of course, in 44. He came back in 94 for the 50th
50th,
anniversary.
okay.
Not necessarily to this spot, but he
Right.
did come back to Normandy, and he also went up into Holland and into Bastogne in 94. But I started going with him in 2014 for the 70th anniversary, and we were back also in May of 2015, just before June 6th. We came and went before the festivities started, and we were here again this past September in the Normandy area.
Okay.
And we're on a Stephen Ambrose historical tours.
Wow. Okay.
And we started originally in London for 4 days there, and 4 days here in we took the ferry over to Cherbourg. We're here for 4 days. Matter of fact, we're on our way to Paris now.
Okay.
And we'll spend 1 night in Paris, get on a train, and we're going to go up to the Netherlands for Market Garden
Market Garden.
stuff. And then we'll come back down into Belgium on a tour bus and go to Bastogne. And then we're going to go into Germany for about 4 days, Nuremberg, Berchtesgaden, Hitler's Eagle's Nest.
Right.
Now he was at Hitler's Eagle's Nest at the end of the war.
Okay, I was going to ask.
Yeah, he did. He made it there as well. So this will be his first time back since 44.
Wow.
And we're going to go to Nuremberg and some of the other places, adventures, Frankfurt, Munich, places like that.
Yeah, I'm sorry I keep saying wow, but that's all I've got.
I don't know what else to
That's
say.
all I've got. I've been studying this for most of
You
my
turn
life.
"while" upside down, it spells
it's
mom.
mom.
Well, it has been a wonderful life.
Yeah, it sure seems like
Yes,
it.
sir.
Sure,
Been interesting.
yeah. Yeah, well, I know that for us.
I don't know if you
for
want
us,
to walk over to the bus. I can give you a card over at the bus. But
Yeah, she can walk. She
We'll
can
send her
certainly
with
walk.
you,
Yeah,
yeah.
we'll send her with you.
You can take her with you if you want. She'll just William
I'll tell you
Oh my
what. I'll
God.
take her and you take him.
Hey, actually, I mean,
Interview him
Be
all
careful
day.
there.
yeah.
I think we just got traded.
Okay.
Well, it is.
I'm ready for a
We
trade.
don't want to keep you, but
Yes.
it's wonderful to meet you.
Well,
Absolutely.
my pleasure.
You're a national treasure. You really are. And
I don't feel like
I know you don't,
You
but
are.
that's why. That's why.
Is this put into an archive?
Thank you
Absolutely.
for spending some time, and thank you for your
I can
service.
dig it up
and-
there.
My pleasure, gentlemen. I'll
Because
tell you,
it
is
might
nice.
be weeks before I'm
Yeah.
able to get to it.
You said you've lived a wonderful life, and there's a lot of people who've lived a wonderful life because of what you've done. So
Yeah.
I tell you, I
we
lived-
appreciate you, sir. Thank you.
It has been wonderful.
It's basically
Yeah,
taken
yeah.
over.
There's been we've seen so much appreciation from people here in Normandy
He tells everybody,
for all the
he says, "My body
veterans,
wants to die, but the doctors won't let
and
it."
it really is for the people who live here. It's a liberation
But
day.
he's,
Right?
It's
their
one of
homes,
his doctors said, I don't
and
want you going on
you've
this
given people a lot of great lives.
Came anyway.
Yeah.
He has
So
7
thank you.
doctors. He has
Yeah.
7 doctors.
I do appreciate that.
Yeah.
Makes me feel
So I'm
better.
trying to
Yeah.
get
A
us
global
every mile I
treasure.
can
So there's
out.
people watching all over the world right now. They say you're a global treasure.
Oh golly.
Okay.
They
Yeah.
say thank you for your
Here comes
service.
our-
Thank you so
the
much.
tour
You're a
story.
legend. They just, I mean, hundreds of people saying thank you right now.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, we don't want to keep him.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, let me tell you one thing.
Okay.
Tell me.
When I saw my lady friend on Skype, I asked her, I said, I can talk to you, I can see you, but there's one thing that's missing. And she said, what's that? I said, I can't take you in my arms and give you a squeeze. I said, how would it be if I did that? She said, well, that would be lovely. But I have a lady friend back in North Carolina,
Of 15 years.
There you go.
He didn't tell her about this.
We'll talk more
her-
about that later.
her neighbor saw it on TV.
He came running over and on the door and knocked on the door. Ruby, her name is Ruby, said, Ruby, Thomas is on TV. On TV for what? Something about a girlfriend. A girlfriend? Yeah, in Australia. What? So anyway.
Technology.
Yeah.
See?
So what happened with him is then, he told Joyce something to give you a squeeze. So he goes down after we get back from Australia. He drives back down that house road, within a few weeks. And he drives up and she comes out on the porch and she's there on the front porch. She comes up to her and says, come over here and let me give you a hug. And she goes, you mean a squeeze?
You mean a squeeze.
Now she's got that knife in my side, and every time something comes up, she'll twist it a little.
Well, you kind of handed her that one, though. I mean, I'm just saying, as a woman, maybe. I think you get a pass, though.
I don't know why she was offended.
Can't imagine. You know what? I think you
So-
deserve that one. Thank you so much. We're going to take him back. I'm going
Absolutely.
to walk back
Now what
with
we're
you.
going to do, he wants me to pick up a couple of clickers in the store here and then we'll go right out to the bus.
You know,
And
crickets.
this
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
some of our group here. We have 38 people with our group.
Wow.
And so,
You get to travel.
and we're, like I say, we're on our way now to Paris. So.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Okay.
Here they come.
There's a couple of them there. Yeah. Julia, would it be okay if we got a picture with you really quick? Could you get us? All right, JDK, come here. Yeah. Hop over on one side. There you go. And I'm all loaded up with camera gear here.
Okay.
So.
All right. Ready? Okay, I'm going to take a couple. Still taking? The phone is now buzzing at me.
Nope, people
Trying to
texting
get a
you.
People texting me?
Yeah.
I don't think they're texting me. But okay.
Let me take this off.
Wait, and
You can see his jacket.
Oh, his jacket.
Yeah, take it off completely.
All right.
You'll take it off completely?
Yeah, take it off completely. You can see the.
Okay.
Oh, that's our
Yep.
map of the Pegasus Bridge here. Yeah,
Oh my.
yeah, you can.
Got the Airborne jacket on.
Wow, you do. Got it there.
Yeah.
Joss, I'll get some with mine.
That's my
Yes.
favorite jacket, and that's my
Yeah.
thing on the back.
Right there.
Incredible.
I'm going to need one thing. I need you to hold him.
Oh.
I won't even bother to explain why.
We won't even ask.
We don't even ask.
It's a good thing.
It's got,
is.
it's a voodoo doll
It,
that's got
it
pins in it.
absolutely is, yes. This doll will get you forgiveness from your girlfriend. That's
Oh
perfect.
wow.
That's it's like
His
yeah.
superpower.
That's his superpower.
Yeah, but extra one. I need.
I'm going to market them. Is what I'm going to
Yeah.
do. Okay, you guys all get together, and
Yeah.
I will.
You got the camera?
I've got mine.
All right.
Jump in there with them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Come over. See?
I tell you, I get in the.
Okay.
how about
There you
this?
go.
That's perfect. All right. Everybody say airborne.
Airborne.
There you go.
Thank y'all.
This man was our first.
One other thing, he got out of the army at the end of the war.
Right.
in
He was
November
known as the
45.
father of Airborne.
The father of
Go
Airborne.
back up.
Yeah, and he was given the division when it was first activated.
You know, he joined the army because.
But
of the
unfortunately,
stuff
in
that
March,
He wanted to come
before we went in,
back to-
he had a heart attack and
Okay.
had be relieved, so he could not take us into combat.
Wow.
And he was devastated for that.
I bet. I bet. So, wow. Well, we so appreciate you taking the time to talk
Absolutely.
with us.
It's an honor to meet you, sir.
Yeah.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
And I hope that it's been beneficial to you.
Oh, it has been.
It has been.
It has been.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. We couldn't have asked for anything better.
When did you enlist?
In the Army. In
In the Army?
March 42.
Yeah.
March of 42, and there was no such thing as airborne,
Airborne
at the time.
Right.
He
So
went
you-
82nd Infantry he went into. And then they decided they want to work on this airborne concept, so they took the 82nd Infantry, divided into 2 units. One, the 82nd Airborne, and this new one called the 101st Airborne. He was 101st from day one.
Wow.
Wow.
And he got out of the Army in November of 45, but he re-enlisted in mid-1959 and retired in 1975. He's been in communications all his life. He was a radio code operator for Division Artillery, as a division, the Vardy. Then when he went back in, he went into signal school again with communications. And in the early 60s, it went from telegraph keys and talking on mics to satellite communications. And he retired in Fort Monmouth, New Jersey, as a satellite communications SATCOM instructor.
Wow.
Fort Monmouth closed down in 2011.
Holy moly.
So.
And you flew a J5 Cub.
He flew a
I
J5
hate to bring it
Cub.
back to that,
Oh,
but
he's
it's
got-
the J5 Cub.
Oh, he loved the Cub, and well, he got more time on a Cub than a J3 than a J5, right?
Yeah.
But,
Thank you.
Well, we don't
Yeah,
want to.
I'm
Okay,
going to walk.
let's go to the store.
I'm going to give
Yeah.
you some cards
Well,
to give to these people.
yeah,
that are-
absolutely.
Before we go,
Okay.
I want to ask you one thing.
What is that?
May I get a hug?
Yes, of course you may. Oh my goodness, of course you may. Thank
This is
you.
wonderful. Thank you.
This has
I'm
been
gonna leave this jacket
absolutely
off.
wonderful.
Nice to meet you, sir.
My
Thank you.
pleasure.
Thank you for your service.
I may come back. I may just stay with them.
All right,
Maybe
we'll
you-
see you
yeah,
later,
I'll
DC
text you.
Trio.
Nice
yeah.
talking
So
with
much
you.
for your
Okay,
time.
not a
Appreciate it.
problem.
One more time.
Not a
We
problem.
do appreciate you, sir.
Right,
Thank you.
Hop in this thing there and let's hit the road.
Okay, we're going to race.
Yeah, we got it.
And you've been so busy, but
Yeah.
all the best to
There you
you.
go.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
And we get all the contact, get the video. And
Yep.
We
yep.
got- we-
We're-
all
I'm,
right.
I'm walking with him to get their card.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, we don't have time.
Yeah, we have
So,
I kept it too long.
hi there, chat. How y'all doing? A little bit of a fast start to the show today. Little bit of an awesome start to the show today. What did we say we rode on that Jeep on the beach? It might have just got beat. It might have just got beat there. That's a massive honor. DC3 girl doing her thing. She's actually walking and talking now. She's going with them. But we came over to the museum here. We are near Ranville, France. We're at the Pegasus Bridge objective, so if we come back around this way, we actually have the Pegasus Bridge. This was one of the major objectives for the British paratroopers that dropped at Drop Zone K over there near Centersville, where we were the other day. We saw them drop. This is what they were coming to get. They did such a good job of taking this bridge that they actually picked it up and took it away from the river and put it in a museum over here. Just kidding. There's a new bridge that they replaced, and they put this one not over the river anymore. So this is the Pegasus Bridge objective. We're going to be, that's a tongue twister, I just realized. We're going to be all over the museum here for a little bit, but we started off the day here interviewing a veteran of the one. I don't even know. A veteran of the 101st. The first paratroopers. The first paratroopers. I don't know what to... Welcome to the virtual field trip, I guess. Huh? I'm going to scroll through and read some chat here. I don't know if we're on the front page or not. I don't know if this started off with a stream or a raid or something happened or anything. I don't even know. It was so worth it. Norwood, I believe. Jay, his name was Norwood, I believe, right? Chat, I don't... JDK's over here like, what just happened? Oh, it's front page indeed. We are on the front page for that.
So that happened.
So that happened. Gosh.
Of course it did. The whole week's been like this. The whole week's been
What did
like
we
this.
say this morning, right? We're like, oh, maybe go to the airfield. The weather's going to be windy. The pictures from yesterday weren't great. I don't know.
Yeah, we were thinking maybe the glider and the bridge would be cool, and frankly, the weather mattered and the logistics to Paris mattered because we have a hard stop to
train
be
we
in
got to
Paris,
catch.
a train to catch.
Yeah, a train we got to catch.
And so we chose this, and lo and behold.
Well, what do I say? I was rolling my tail end out of bed, And they were like, oh, so we were thinking we'll go over to the Pegasus Bridge. And I said, all right.
Sure.
What did I say? I said, like, well, we've just been randomly choosing a location every morning.
Yeah.
Every morning, it's worked out fantastically. Let's not change the formula, which is we have no plan. It's
we have
9
a general
a.m.
idea.
Yeah. Where are we going to go? And it was Pegasus Bridge. And so we come over here, we pay to get into the museum. We walked through, it was pretty crowded up in the building. And we come over here and we're starting to set up. We had some technical issues. And the DC3 girl's waving frantically. She's over here like this, sort of like trying to marshal us wherever she was.
Which sometimes that's just her normal way of doing things. So it could be she saw a nice cute puppy, but in this case,
she
had something legit. And because I mean, just to kind of follow that up, he jumped in the very first night with 101st into a maelstrom.
Yep.
Survived that. Jumped in Market Garden in September, and then was at the Siege of Bastogne in the Battle of the Bulge in December of 1944, and lived through all 3 of them. And that is absolutely incredible. I mean, I don't know how much you and I were on camera for some of that, but as he talked, my jaw just went further and further and further open.
That's what I was like, Saber, come this way. Just, you don't need to see us. We need to capture those stories. And I appreciate, I love the fact that he was, one more thing. Before you go, let me tell you one more thing.
One more thing,
one more thing.
One more thing. One more thing. Yeah.
We got like 5 or 6 one more things in there.
And
so,
all I can say is I want to be, if I'm in that shape, that mindset, and that positivity at 97 years old, wow. That was incredible. I don't have much to complain about anymore.
He skydives. Every year at his birthday, he skydives. And then he wants to bungee jump.
Yeah.
It takes a special sort of human being to jump out of an airplane first. It takes an extra special to be in the Airborne.
Yeah.
The first Airborne.
The very first.
Jumping into a war zone, not for fun or anything like that, but it takes a special sort of person to do that. And to be still doing that where he is now, it must stick with you.
And he's got girlfriend problems in his 90s. How amazing is that?
I didn't want to say it at the time, but I hope we don't get him in any more trouble.
Yeah, right.
More trouble. There's like a third who's watching this, and she's like, wait, she's probably speaking French.
She's speaking French.
She may not come back.
Yeah.
She's speaking French. Wait a minute. Yeah.
He has a very strong mind, an absolute legend. He was basically one of the brothers from a Band of Brothers.
Yeah.
He was basically one of the brothers from a Band of Brothers.
If he's on the Ambrose tour, obviously, they're pulling people that are from those divisions as best as possible. So I'm going to look up his name when I get a chance. But yeah, I couldn't believe we got the chance. I mean, I couldn't, and I could, because that's just how things have broken this week. And you know, it's funny because we were talking last night, Chad, about we were in Omaha Beach. That's kind of the big. It's kind of the big thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But what a great human story on our last day, right out of the gate, to talk to somebody who saw all of this, lived through all of this, and keeps coming back. I mean, his son told us that it's like their 5th time back here
to be back here. Yeah. And it's good. The first time since he's been to, I think, Germany since 1944. Yeah. The second time he's been to Germany, he was going to Eagles.
He went to the Eagle's Nest. He was there. That was the Hitler's retreat in the Bavarian Alps down in the south of Germany. And they're going to go to Nuremberg, of course, where the trials were. Right. The trials for Nazi war criminals. But he went to Berchtesgaden at the end of the war, and that's. Any of you who've seen or read the book, seen the series or read the book Band of Brothers, there's a whole section that takes place in Berchtesgaden. They raid the wine cellar, among other things, and so he got to see that. So this is the kind of stuff that we have to take a look at a little bit more closely.
So he's in Virginia Beach, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna research that while we're talking.
So. It's not the sort of place to put him on the spot or anything, but if he ever wants to see a rocket launch, it's probably not the most spectacular thing he's seen in his life, but if that's something that he wants to experience, Virginia Beach is like an hour and a half south of Wallops, and if he wanted to see a rocket launch, an Antares launch from over there, because I go up to Virginia, I drive past Virginia Beach, right, on the way to Wallops all the time, and I don't think that would be the highlight of his life, but I wasn't going to put him on the spot, like, if you ever want to see a rocket launch, we could probably set that up. I don't know, y'all.
We're both kind of at a loss for words.
God.
I'm just kind of.
Here we go. Norwood was a radio operator for Division Artillery Headquarters. He fought across Europe at the 101st towns of Carentan, Bastogne, Hagenau, and Berchtesgaden.
Wow.
Thank you, Damon. Thank you for that. We are having a great trip, Mav. We are having a fantastic trip. Thank you for making it possible. Again, let's step over this way a little bit. I sort of feel like people think we can't walk through here.
There are a million Google hits on this guy.
Wow.
And there's the video of him, the reunification with Joyce Morris in
Oh
Australia.
wow. He's all over.
He's all over the internet.
It's not his first time being on the internet, I guess.
No, he's all over.
No kidding.
He's all over. Holy cow.
God.
Let's see.
I don't know. We're sort of recovering from that. There's all sorts of stuff here. Like if you turn the camera around real quick, I'll yell into the side of the mic. There's actually one of the gliders, a Horsa glider. I don't know if this is a replica or this is a restored variant or something like that. I'm not sure. It looks like they may have some pieces. There's a fuselage in a building over there, but we'll figure out what those things are as we get around. Again, we had just hit the ground here in the museum, and we went from all right, we're spooling up the stream to talking with Norwood. One of the original members.
Norwood Thomas.
Norwood Thomas. One of the original members of the 101st.
101st Airborne, yeah, and jumped in on D-Day.
On D-Day.
At Carentan. Wow. And then was in Market Garden. And then was in Bastogne.
Was in Bastogne.
Wounded in Bastogne. Okay, we'll look him up later, a little more specifically. But
wow.
Yeah, that's...
So what do y'all think? Is everything online? Are we even streaming right now?
No. We're not going to do this, of course, but I mean, in theory, we could just shut down right now, drop the mic.
All right,
and be like,
stream's over.
Can we give some props to DC3 Girl on this one?
DC3 Girl over here rocking the P1000.
Well, he was standing there and he had an Airborne hat on and he looked the appropriate age, so I said, "Were you?" And he said, "Yes, I was." And I said, "Great, can I grab my camera crew?" And
He's all over Google.
Sure.
Yeah.
He said, "I have 20 minutes." And the loveliest, they kept thanking us.
That's great.
Yeah, and the last thing he said was he was so glad that he met people that could share his story with other people so people would understand what his generation went through. What they did.
Well, we were saying if we could be half that happy and half that healthy at 97, we'd be lucky. And I mean, and certainly you get the sense that as difficult as kind of transitioning back into civilian life was, it clearly gave him perspective.
Absolutely.
You know, and not that we should wish that kind of perspective, that kind of lesson, but that was amazing.
But
that was
so chat, remind me before we leave, I have to remember to buy him clickers.
Clickers.
So we kept him for so long, they couldn't get in, and he really wants clickers.
How many clickers does he need?
So,
and how much do clickers cost?
Right, not enough to worry about. So I just don't want to forget to get them, because that was the most amazing part of the whole trip right there. I said, I came here to see 36 DC-3s. Never mind.
Never mind.
Well, we were just saying before you walked up, and, you know, we're not going to do this, but in theory, we could just shut everything off.
I'm thinking
right
about
now,
it.
Drop the mic.
Yeah, we could drop the mic and just go home right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd like to go on the glider at least.
I'd like to go on the glider.
We got plenty of stuff.
Well,
give me the camera. You can walk over there by yourself.
Now we've got.
I want to take check.
Yeah, we've got plenty of. Now that we've got that to frame it, we've got plenty to take a look at.
Well, and what I thought was so interesting was they handed me a business card, and I guess I've seen the Airborne wings before, and you have the star on them. I don't know that I've ever seen the glider wings before.
Oh.
So chat, will somebody find me a picture of that? There's actual glider wings. And
yeah, because he went in a glider.
Yeah.
Right. So he did. Look,
it is a dog.
I'll repet him. He makes me happy. Yeah.
I don't. So here's the deal. We don't know how much clickers cost. Chat. We're buying their clickers.
We're buying a lot of clickers.
I don't know what they cost.
I don't either.
Exclamation point donate in chat. Click on the link and we are buying whatever they needed.
Click for clickers.
Well, and I don't know if you could hear it. Could you hear it, Saber, when the son was talking to me next to him?
Which time?
When the son was telling me about his medical conditions.
I had zoomed back.
Yeah, we were just looking.
He is very, very ill. His doctors, he said he has 7 doctors. His doctors told him not to take this trip.
But his handshake was
His handshake was still
and that's what he said.
Oh, wow.
He said my body wants to die, but the doctors just aren't letting it. So but he's
Wow.
in poor health, so I wanted
Right.
to make sure that we got those to him,
Absolutely.
and I told him we would send him these clips tonight. But yeah, throw
Next
a lot of
day,
love in chat
whatever
for
we
him
need to
because
do.
yeah, what
Yeah.
an amazing man. And his girlfriend's still talking to him.
Yeah.
And I think we're all worried about that.
Well,
but-
we were just joking about that. We were saying that he's got girl problems, relationship
Right.
problems.
He's got relationship
girlfriend
problems.
He's got, and he may be the oldest man to ever get caught on social media.
On social
I mean,
media.
I'm just saying.
Oh, no.
There might be some sort of a record there. I love that she showed up and knocked on the door.
Says, can I get a hug? No.
No.
Squeeze.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
wow.
that was just adorable. So
No, for real, y'all.
Yeah.
You should go right
I'm
now
going
and
to go
get
get
what
clickers.
they need.
I'm going
Hey, if they have a shot glass too.
oh, it's just I'm already looking.
Okay.
DC3 girl on the case.
Yeah. Get us a clipper.
Yeah, what-
Get us
can I have
Yeah,
one?
can I have a clicker?
Please?
Yeah. Clickers.
A clicker.
Yeah.
for you.
Everybody gets a clicker.
Everybody gets a clicker.
Everybody in chat. Oh wait, no.
No. That would be almost 1,000 clickers. Anyways, if you're just joining us, you're wondering what's going on. I'm Das. How's it going? We're on a virtual field trip with me. I've got JDK Winnikin.
Not DOS.
Not Das. What we do are these virtual field trips on Twitch. I mean, yeah, I play video games and stuff, but we also take our mobile camera equipment, which is a LiveView Solo, a little hip-mounted stream device, and we have a nice camera, and we've got Saber here. Sorry, I used our real names when we were introducing.
I did too.
I'm not
that's good.
introducing
Yeah.
myself
No.
as Das to Norwood there.
No.
So
There's
we
a
used
time
our
and
real
place.
names. But we've got Saber, who's on the camera here, and we've been all this week going all over the UK and Normandy. Well, we were up in the UK at Duxford at the Imperial War Museum. We spent a couple days up there looking at aircraft and exhibits and stuff, actually being inside of historic C-47s and DC-3s, which are cargo aircraft, the F-150s of World War II, right? The airborne F-150s of World War II. And then we came across the channel here down to Normandy. And we've been going all over Normandy. We hit up Sandersville. We went over to Omaha Beach. We're here today. We went to Arrow-Marsh, which was a place where they built artificial harbors using the mulberries.
Yeah.
We've been all over the map.
All over.
We stormed the beaches
we
of
did. Yeah,
Normandy
we kinda did.
with
Yeah,
the camera gear
We
yesterday.
stayed in Bayeux, which
Yep.
was the first town liberated.
What a
by the
beautiful
Allies.
place.
Yeah, it is beautiful.
We're now just next door to what claims to be the first building liberated?
Yes,
The first building liberated.
Because this Pegasus Bridge Memorial is right at the spot where the Pegasus Bridge, which is right behind us, was seized by British paratroopers on the night of June 5th, June 6th. It was over the Orne River, which is right nearby, and there's a new bridge over that.
Right.
And that river, they needed to grab that bridge to prevent the Germans from coming in from the east side of the river to try and reinforce their defenses on the beachhead. So the
Right.
British, their job was to parachute in and grab that bridge, prevent that from happening, to hold that until British forces from Sword Beach, which is just to the north, right? The Orne connects to the channel.
Right.
Once British forces from Sword and Juno Beach, Canadian forces from Sword and Juno Beach could come in and relieve them and hold the bridge and keep that fortification.
Right.
Because the Orne River is a wonderful natural barrier
Yep.
for anyone trying to get across.
To guard one of the flanks.
Right, to guard
of
one of the
the
flanks.
invasion here, right?
Right, to keep
the liberation.
Right, of the liberation, right. So that's why we're here, and the British troopers that came in not only parachuted in, but came in gliders,
Yeah.
like that horse over there. We'll take a look. Looks like you can go inside.
Yeah,
it,
you
which is
can go
pretty
inside
cool.
it looks like. Let's do this. Let's walk over to get a little bit closer view of the bridge.
The bridge?
And then
Sure.
we're going to move around the museum here. But again, like I said, we're on a virtual field trip. We're streaming it live. I'm reading Twitch chat on my phone. And when y'all were saying thank you, I was reading some of the comments out of Twitch chat just saying thank you to Norwood that I saw. So we are live and interactive right now. If you have a question for us, this is a great place to ask a question. I may miss it. I might miss it, so don't feel bad if I missed it, especially if I come back and say, okay, now's a good time for questions, as opposed to just asking a question in the middle of something, right? I'll also tell you this is an active facility. There are other museum guests walking around, so you will see people walking all over, completely expected. And the last thing is that sorry, I was seeing if we could walk over there, actually. We could go walk onto the bridge. The last thing is that we want to be respectful of other people's experiences, right? So I am talking and stuff like that, but I'm going to be getting out of the way of museum guests. If you see me like blocking a path or something, just be like, dude, Das.
Yeah.
But we do want to be respectful of other people's experiences here. We're not here to shut this down so that we can do professional filming. We're here to share the experience virtually with y'all via Twitch on our virtual field trip. So,
Yep.
whew, okay.
Wow.
Did I miss anything?
No.
Oh, last thing. If one of the mods could see if it's possible to make a highlight of the stream while the stream is live. So could we get somebody going on creating a highlight of our chat with Norwood here?
Norwood Thomas.
If that's a possibility, if we can get that highlighted as soon as possible and put it into Discord, that would be really interesting. And the wind here is going to be a little bit of a thing. We're setting up really quickly. We know there's going to be some wind noise. We're sort of in the medium setup right now, where we're just using the shotgun mic on top of the camera. We don't have body packs or anything, but that's okay. It's one more beautiful day over here.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been windy. It was stormy as anything last night.
Yeah.
It was real, and I didn't think we were gonna be able to do a whole lot. It was
crazy last night.
It was crazy. There's a big storm cutting through the country. So
so let's walk over this way where we can get a little bit more of a view of the bridge and maybe get in the lee of the main building here. Alright, we'll just walk past all down. Everybody's taking pictures of this, which looks like an anti-aircraft gun. If I had to guess. I don't know. Yeah, it's a Bofors 40mm, yeah. Man by 8 men. Action within 2 minutes. Firing high explosives. Tracer armor piercing. Oh. So this just shot out whatever needed to be shot at. Right. Apparently. Yeah. Sorry, not just anti-aircraft.
I'm sure they had plenty.
Yeah. Here's a quad mount. Look at this. The M45 quad mount. 4 12.7mm Browning machine guns. A very effective weapon against low-flying aircraft. Gotcha.
Yeah, what would think?
Yeah, so the half-track actually is not in there. This must be the gun from the half-track.
Yeah.
Because right next to it, they've got a M3 M5 A1 half-track.
Wow.
The M3 M5 half-track was a vehicle ideal in the reconnaissance role for the transportation of troops.
Did you see this on the beach yesterday?
We did. I actually posted a picture this morning of one of these driving past Sabre on the beach.
Yeah.
Used extensively by Allied nations during the Second World War, over 41,000 half-tracks were constructed.
70 different versions.
70 different versions.
I just said, let's make a half-tank, half-truck.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's got the weight distribution, so it doesn't get stuck like that Jeep we saw yesterday. But it still has the maneuverability of a truck. I don't know if maneuverability is the right term. If we can,
Yeah.
can we get up in the lee of the building, like right over here? And then the wind shouldn't be as bad, and then we can actually look at the bridge and talk about the bridge and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Right here's great.
Yeah. Yeah, here we go. Cool.
You want just the bridge?
Yeah, sure. So if I had to guess, it actually looks like a counterweight lift bridge, right? So they could actually put the bridge down in the configuration it's in right now so that traffic could cross. And then they could also raise the bridge up. There's probably a big, massive concrete and iron weight in that box, right? That's probably the weight, actually. And when they would release it, the entire bridge would sort of swing up and get out of the way so you could have higher boats going through. Yeah, you see how it works?
Yeah.
So there's the big pivot point up there at the top, and they probably just take a little bit of force to roll that thing up so that a boat can go under it.
Got it.
If I had to guess, I mean, otherwise I don't know what the rest of the structure would be for, right? Oh, and did y'all get the C-130s flying over?
Yeah.
I just remember this while we were over there.
There were like
some
3 or
C-130s.
4, yeah.
Yeah.
They were from several. There was, I saw an American, a British, and a French one.
Wow.
And then there was something else.
Just in a line, huh? So the importance of bridges like this, right? When we talked about the paratroopers that were jumping into places like Drop Zone K over at Centerville, what they were trying to do is secure bridges and crossroads, right?
Yeah.
And for the defense of the coast, the Germans had actually kept their armored divisions back.
Further back.
And they were going to try and react and say, okay, here they're coming, they're trying to land here, send the armor there to provide support and keep the Americans on the beach or keep the Allies on the beach or push them back into the sea, right? So the plan was to seize strategic locations like this bridge to prevent German tanks and equipment from moving in to reinforce the defense against the landings.
Yeah.
So it's almost like we went in not quite order, but we saw the paratroopers that dropped at Drop Zone K, and they would have come from that field to this bridge.
To this bridge, right.
Did I get that right?
Yeah, they were. And now the ones who actually seized the bridge came in gliders, but that entire operation was meant to seize this section of the Orne River, because that was going to be the primary conduit through which the Germans would try to reinforce. Because remember that the Germans still believed everything was coming up further up the coast, near Calais. So they had a lot of equipment up there, and so as soon as they figured out that this was the main invasion point, would try to reinforce that, and they would need to come across the Orne River. And if they can't come across the Orne River here, they had to go a long ways around. Right. And by then, you know, with the Allies having complete control over the air, right, they're going to be able to catch those types of those transports out in the open and prevent them from getting here. So that was the big push. So this objective was absolutely vital to the entire operation, which is why there's a memorial and more.
And so Mutters put into chat a link to a picture of the bridge raised. So JD, there's what the bridge would look like when it was raised.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Okay.
Excellent.
And there is another bridge there now.
Yes, they replaced it with a more modern bridge.
So they moved this in.
Right.
I don't know exactly when they did that, but I saw that this facility we were in was dedicated back in 2000.
Okay.
And there was an effort launched by a British general to make sure that the Pegasus Bridge and everything was remembered. So I don't know what the process was to get this bridge in here, or what, but it must have been quite a to-do.
Quite a to-do, yeah. I already made that joke, chat, that they did such a good job of securing the bridge, they actually picked it up and moved it somewhere else. That's how secure it was.
Let's take it and put it here.
Yeah, chaps. There was no German armor coming across this, because it's not even across the river anymore.
Right, exactly.
No, hey, again, chat, I'll make the sort of disclaimer one more time. We do have fun. We make a little bit of cracks and stuff like that. It's a super serious place. They were super serious events, but we are sort of sharing this experience with you, and part of that is us sort of having a little bit of light fun, so that clearly during World War II they wouldn't have actually wanted to destroy the bridge. They wanted to seize the bridge, to hold it, secure the bridge so that they could actually use it themselves.
Eventually,
If you go through there and you bomb out a road, you bomb out an airfield, you destroy a bridge, you can't use it. And then you have a bunch of just wasted infrastructure that now you've actually got to fight against. It's an obstacle to you.
When you're on the offensive, absolutely yes. Now later in the year, when there would be the attempt at Market Garden to get bridges across the Rhine River into Germany, the Germans blew them up.
The Germans blew the bridges up.
Right. I mean, because from defensively, they knew the same thing. You have a natural barrier in a gigantic river. You make it impossible for them to get across it using the means that you have at your disposal. So.
Absolutely. And Jamorian said, that's the point, though. They didn't want to destroy the bridge just so the Germans get, Das beat me. I don't have to type it out, Jim. So
that's okay. I mean, it's good to have that in chat written out, because then people can keep reading it.
Yeah, absolutely.
A little bit of rain.
So yeah, we actually sort of took a shelter in the under the awning of the building here because it is drizzling on us. When it stops drizzling, we'll see if we can walk around a little bit. But again,
we're still sort of surfing on that 101st Airborne.
I'm still telling you, we could just turn the stream off right now and go home. It's like, oh, back to Perry. We're done.
Perry, we're done.
I do want to go see that Derp Cromwell over there, though.
I do, yeah.
So
somebody just mentioned that in a tweet.
Oh, really?
Popped up, that there's a Cromwell over there.
Gotcha. Yeah, there's a Derp Cromwell, it looks like, and it might have been used. I don't know if it's for spotting or something. Sorry, there's just,
Should I go run and check?
Nah, you don't have to. Yeah. So, anyways, y'all, that's our deal. We just wanted to.
Must be buying a lot of clickers.
She's gonna. Over here. Hey.
It's like I timed it.
Yeah, we need a clicker.
What do you got? We have 2 bags.
I don't really want to talk about it.
Oh no.
No. You misunderstood. I want all the clickers you have.
I literally bought every
I know what
clicker
I'm
that
about,
they had
son.
left.
Did they really?
They had 15 of them. I bought all 15. She said they have more in bag. Mom, I can't show the moms their presents. Moms their gifts.
Moms, there are gifts.
It says, look, here you go, chat. So here's what one of the clickers were. And it's just a little piece of metal, right? Oh, and a tank pencil.
It's a level whatever tank pencil for you.
That would be like let me see it. I mean, that looks a lot like a Patton, honestly.
There you go.
So probably not a World War II tank.
More importantly, there are DC-3 pencils.
C-47 DC-3 pencils.
And there are patches.
Oh my gosh.
And there are patches.
And patches from Pegasus.
Oh, cool.
All right.
Okay.
We got jackets. I
I think we got that.
Oh yeah, we do. Yeah.
So,
don't ever send me into a gift shop.
No. Chat sent you into a gift shop.
Do you remember? I can't remember if it was you who was telling us, but somebody that we talked to sometime in the past, what feels like a year, was telling us about the response and sort of the the different things for the clicker.
Oh.
Like if it was 3 or 2.
Oh, I don't remember. That wasn't me.
Okay.
Chat.
Okay. Yeah, chat. Look that up.
Chat, please do.
So the
I'd love to
clicker
do the actual thing at some point.
that I'm looking at is just, I don't know how well y'all can see this. It's just a little piece of metal, and on one end it has a little. It almost looks like a little bubble wrap sort of thing that when you break it over, it makes a pop, and when you let it go, it like unpops, I guess, or it makes that loud noise. So you can see that noise you've been hearing is that right there. Wow, it echoes too.
When we were at Aramash, I was hearing one go off up where we were, and then I would hear another one reply.
Like a reply somewhere else?
Distance. Yeah.
So the clickers were, I believe, so that the paratroopers could communicate, and it was like a challenge and response thing. So you would click a certain pattern, and you would wait for a certain pattern in response, and if they didn't know the pattern, it might not be somebody that you wanted to go hang out with, right? Are we good for the rain? All right, cool. So let's walk around this way, but we sent DC3 girl in to buy all the stuff. Oh wait, click twice then challenge with a flash. Expect a reply of thunder.
Thunder, yeah.
Gotcha. A soldier would click once, and if 2 clicks were received from an unidentified soldier, then his identification was confirmed. But then another one is click twice then challenge with a flash. Expect a reply of thunder. Explain that a little bit more.
Maybe if one of them didn't have a clicker.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, explain that a little bit more.
So it was 2. And then either flash or thunder, or 2 and then another 2?
Right.
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah, Twitch.
Yeah,
help us out there.
Sorry.
Yeah. In there already we have the interview with Norwood Thomas highlighted. Eon, I appreciate you.
Tell Eon I bought him a clicker, which he will get as soon as he puts in chat that the DC-3 is the greatest plane ever built. He'll get his clicker.
He'll get his clicker. Like, right now, we'll just throw it to you.
It's clicker blackmail.
Eon,
is what
just
it
put it in
is.
quotes. Just put it in quotes.
Put it in quotes.
And then you've
the
actually
DC-3
done
is
it.
the best aircraft ever.
You've done it to the letter.
I'm walking in there and I'm getting texts from people. I want a clicker.
Oh, really? Oh, no. He says, I can Amazon a clicker. I can Amazon a clicker.
Won't be the same.
Oh, not after you talk to a World War II vet.
Yeah, so y'all are saying that you would say it out loud, right? So tell me the entire thing. Thunder and the counter reply was flash.
Flash and then thunder.
Yeah.
Because you
it was
see
thunder
the flash
and the counter
then you hear
reply
the
was
thunder.
flash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then as far as the clickers specifically,
yep,
is my question.
Didn't reloading a German rifle have the same sound as a clicker? I don't know, actually. Yeah, I don't know. Okay. Now that the sun has look at the sky.
I know.
It was just drizzling on us, and now it's absolutely beautiful.
Because I came back outside.
Oh, thank you.
Some kind of magic today.
Right there, sort of
DC-3 girls feeling it.
Yeah, you are feeling. You should.
Which is good because this is the last sort of half day of streaming. So after this, you can just turn it off. It's fine.
And what's most important is I bought my dogs their souvenirs.
You bought their dogs.
For dogs.
Oh no.
It says I heard Normandy.
Oh, wow.
I'm dangerously gift shop. That's all there is to it.
Oh, hi. Okay, that works too. Well, let's just look at some of the pieces that they have here. We can figure out what they are. Yeah. It's a 5.5-inch medium gun, which was a standard artillery that the British upgraded to from a smaller gun, the 4.5-inch Mark 1.
Rounds could be fired to within 6 feet of a target at 9 miles.
Wow. God.
And they could have it set up and firing in 3 minutes.
In 3 minutes. Within 3 minutes of taking a firing position, the crew of 10 could bring this gun. The gun weighs 5 tons. And it was towed by a 4-wheel drive APC Matador, which also carried the ammunition, spares, and essential tools. Look at this thing. See if you can get a shot up the barrel of that. That thing is cool. They show the flash from the event road. Yeah, okay, I got you. I was looking more at the clicker stuff, but I guess the clicker was the first part. Yeah, we'll have to see. I gotta figure out why there's markings on this tank. I don't know why on the. I think it's a Cromwell. I don't know why it's actually got these markings on the side of it. So I'm going to walk over to the next one. So I've been reading up on the tank that's behind us, and it's specifically a Centaur, which is a variant of the Cromwell. And if we go over to the sign, we can get more information. This was actually used by the Royal Marines Armored Support Group. It's got a 95mm howitzer, so I said it's a derp Cromwell, right? It's a 95mm howitzer. Centaur tanks have gunfire support, or gave gunfire support to the commando forces landing on 3 of the 5 D-Day beaches. So these tanks were fire support for Gold, Juno, and Sword. It says the initial plan was to use the tanks for the assault and for 1 week following the landings, and they were going to be replaced by the more heavily armored and reliable Sherman tanks, but the need was so great the Centaurs kept being used during most of the Battle of Normandy. So all the way down we were talking about the gradations on the top, and if you look right in line with the barrel is 180, right? So if you were outside of the tank and you could sort of like use field glasses to look back at the tank, you could actually give direction to the tank, how many degrees in each direction it should turn to get on the correct vector or the trajectory for the shell, so that it could put its fire support in the right place. So this is actually, they would have a really limited view of the battle, because look at this. If you're in the tank, you don't really have a lot of ways to look out. Driver, I think, would be down here. You have a couple little periscope looking things, and you might have something in line with one of the guns as well, but you can't really see what you're going to be firing at, or especially if you're providing cover or support, because that gun is going to be sort of up in the air, right? So what they would have is they'd have somebody outside the tank radioing to the people inside of the tank, looking at the gradations on top, saying, all right, you need to turn right 8 degrees or whatever, fire again, and then they would see where the shell went and what its effect was, and provide guidance that way. So there you go. Oh, apparently the name on it, Vidette, is the nickname of it, named by the crew. It was 5th Independent Battery of Royal Marines Armored Support Group.
There's a story behind that.
Yeah. Apparently this tank was immobilized by German gunfire after landing on Sword Beach with the commando forces. It was recovered from a field on the coast in the 1970s, restored by the British Army and placed on the bank of the Caen Canal. Needed a second restoration, so it was moved here and restored again, and lots of people funded the restoration of the tanks, basically the rest of it. So this tank sat in a field for 30 years, 25 years. And it was recovered in 1970 from the field and then restored, and it's been restored twice. Can you imagine being in a place where there's just used military hardware that's been abandoned, immobilized in fields? I certainly didn't happen in South Texas. We'll go ahead and back out of here. Yeah, there we go. There's the differentiation between the clickers and the challenge response plays. Thank you, Demon. I appreciate you. Yeah, it did. It said that it had radios inside, radio and other instruments on the outside for infantry. Yeah, I don't know. Are you doing like a radio plug somewhere on the outside? Is that what you're trying to say? Yeah. All right. So I think we're all good. They're called unexploded bombs. We have them in our schools well into the 80s. Wow, UK dude. Oh no, yeah. The Alexis. The temporary backup replacement that becomes the actual final solution. What is this, software programming? Let's keep going around. It looks like there's some more artillery pieces and stuff like that. Shall we keep walking? And again, if you're just joining us, you're wondering where we are. We're at the Pegasus Museum, and this was the Pegasus Bridge, this is the actual Pegasus Bridge that was one of the primary objectives for paratroopers during the D-Day operations, right? So the bridge has been moved now. It used to be a control point over a river. What's the river? Orne?
The Orne River.
The Orne River. And why are bridges important during massive wartime maneuvers like this? Because they're choke points. They're access points where if you can control the bridge, you can keep supplies, armor, equipment from getting up to the front lines on D-Day, which would have been the beaches that we were scrambling across yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, so again, that's sort of the context of where we are right now.
Yeah, and if you're wondering where we are on the map, if you look at a map of Normandy, we're at the far east end of the battle zone. We're just south of Sword Beach. Sword Beach comes up right along the Orne River estuary, and so the river connects with the channel, and so it creates this natural barrier that the Germans, if they were going to reinforce the defenders on the beaches or near the beaches, would have to cross that river. And so the 6th Airborne Regiment of the British Army parachuted in, took gliders in. They have a glider, like one of them over there we'll get to. Came in and seized the bridge early in the morning on, actually I think they landed, before June 6th. I think they landed in the night of June 5th. But took the objective really quickly. Their glider pilots were amazing and got 5 of the 6 gliders down literally about 100 feet or so from the bridge. And so they walked out, came in, had a skirmish with the Germans defending it, and grabbed it and held it. So, and then waited for reinforcements from the beaches. So, so that's where we are. So if you find the Orne River near Caen, to the east of Caen, follow it up a little bit. We're right along that river right there between Caen and the coast. So that's where we are.
Just 1 second, guys. Just stay right like that.
Stay right like this for 1 second.
Talking.
As he walks into frame, I got you now, though. You're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're good. Thanks. All right. Sorry, I just needed a quick picture.
Yeah, that's all right.
Into view.
That's okay. So.
And used Saber here as the person in the background.
I'm apparently the live view model. Apparently.
the live view model.
Those are what?
Dragon's teeth.
Oh yeah.
I only point them out because they're called dragon's teeth.
Yeah.
Because dragons are cute.
Dragons are cute.
And also hard to drive tanks through their teeth.
Right.
Yeah. Also that.
Yeah. Reinforced concrete, square, or pyramidal obstacles used to impede the movement of tanks and infantry. The idea was to slow down vehicles, enabling them to be disposed of more easily by anti-tank weapons. Barbed wire and mines were also used. These are some of the smallest ones, so the size of the obstacles varied from the smallest, like these weighing 60 kilos, to obstacles weighing over 1 ton in 150 meters. What's the World of Tanks map? Siegfried? I think it's Siegfried that actually has on one side these that you can actually get your tanks hung up on.
Everything ties in with World of Tanks.
But it's a really cool game because it has so many actual things.
It is accurate.
Anyways.
I just like giving you a hard time about it.
Huge numbers laid in their durable construction. Many thousands of them can still be seen today. In Switzerland, dragon's teeth are still used to protect important military installations. Because of their form, they're known as Toblerone lines.
Toblerone lines.
Toblerone lines.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
The Toblerone line.
And now I want a Toblerone.
Right?
Oh. All right, here we have. Again, we're just walking through. We didn't scout this location in advance or anything. We just knew it was here. We've got another gun, like a smaller field howitzer. Yeah, 25 pounder. It's 95 millimeter gun. So that's interesting. The bore on this gun is the same as the bore on the Cromwell back there. This is just a field towable piece, and the other one on the Cromwell actually has a tank underneath it. What do you need?
I was just make sure you were close.
Oh, cool. Yeah. This one is a standard field gun, capable of firing high explosive, smoke, and armor-piercing ammunition with its 4 different propellant charges, a variety of trajectories for given ranges, enabling targets behind the cover. So this would actually lob shots in, right? Maximum range was about 13,400 yards, or 12,250 meters. It's 6 men to operate this. It says what they all do. We've actually got that really cool artillery clip when the Marines did the artillery run through for us. It is towed by a quad, and it also carried 32 rounds of ammunition.
Chad, I'm going to see if turning this volume up is going to make the wind noise terrible. Let me know if it does.
Okay. Am I quiet today, or?
Just a little bit. Well, and then plus I'm doing like some crouching down and stuff.
Yeah.
This will make the background noise a little more significant, but I'll try and be more wary of where I'm
Yeah, how was the audio before y'all, and then how's the audio now?
It's pretty loud now. Well, if you're close.
Yeah.
So if I'm looking away from you, then just go ahead and say something.
Yeah, so how's that, y'all? Is that getting blown out now, or is that a little bit louder? Does it sound good? Is it too much wind noise? Or what do we have going on with the audio? We're just doing a really quick audio check.
There's a lot of leaves.
Yeah, it's probably going to get tons of rustling.
Okay, it's fine. We can go back.
Yeah.
So we're going to take it back for you guys.
All right. No, they said leave it. They said leave it that way, but that's probably going to blow out.
It'll blow out if people are in front of it. See, you guys here. So
Yeah.
Yeah, so if he's in front and we're about
we'll have to get a little bit further away like that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, okay. Cool. It's good after the change, or it's good before the change, y'all? Audio before was fine. This is a bit loud and blowing out.
Okay,
yeah,
yep,
put it back
I
down.
agree. Sorry, just.
And then we'll remember to project into the back of the microphone. Again, we're not doing body packs or anything today. We just ran over here to get going.
Look at this photograph. This gives you a really
That's my favorite song. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No one at me. Please.
Don't at me.
Okay. This is the bridge.
Yeah.
This is where the gliders landed that brought the troops.
What?
I mentioned just a minute ago, they were like within 100 feet. God. This is where 6 gliders were assigned to this mission. 5 landed in this. You can see at least 3 in the shot here.
Yeah.
And then that's the bridge that is literally right behind Sabre right now.
That's
how
some
close they got.
On-target deployment.
Yeah, it is. That's just impressive.
Wow.
Just impressive. Yeah.
And look at this. If you turn the camera right around, that's the bridge. And then right behind, that's a photo of the bridge with the gliders behind it, and then there's the actual bridge.
There's a story that gets told that maybe chat can go look up and see if they can find about the German soldiers that were guarding the bridge. There was a skirmish there at first.
Right.
Refused to believe that they thought somebody was having a lark with them. They refused to believe these were British troops because they hadn't heard anything. Right.
Oh, really?
And so yeah, it's a story you hear told every once in a while, but it just kind of came to mind looking at that, because that's crazy.
Wow. So, precision litho braking.
Yeah.
It's precision litho braking. Nice.
That's good piloting.
Yeah, that's very good piloting.
Now
Remember,
we can hear the
gliders,
clickers from the drop zone. We have more ammunition, or more guns here, y'all.
This is a really nice memorial site.
It really is, yeah.
It really is cool.
Like all arrayed around the bridge, it's really cool. This is a 76.2, was the most effective anti-tank weapon in the Allied arsenal. Fired an armor-piercing shell, could penetrate the 12 centimeters of armor of a German Tiger tank at 1,000 meters. Dang. Equipped with 12 17-pounders in order to counter the threat posed by units of the German 21st Panzer. Airborne 17-pounder guns were towed by Morris trucks. The combination was transported to Normandy in a large Hamilcar glider. They could transport these over here in a glider?
Oh yeah, yeah. The gliders could hold light guns, equipment, jeeps.
Wow.
Yeah. They just had to be secured, obviously, because if these things got torn up on landing or something like that, it could cause a lot.
So this is the same 17-pound gun that was fitted to the Sherman tanks. The Sherman Firefly was a popular weapon with the crews and highly effective against the German armored units. Because the firepower of Allied tanks was often inferior to that of the German Panzers, so to improve the capability, they would mount, it says 17-pounders, I don't know if it's exactly the same gun, probably with some modifications, to the Shermans, so the Shermans could actually fight against the Panzers more effectively. And that's where you get out of that, the 75, the shorter barrel, and then that 105, we saw a 75 and we saw a 105 on the Shermans at Arrow-Marche, and then this gun, not on a Sherman right now, but this would be the 76. Gotcha. And then I don't know if a 76, which gun, if it was a 75 or a 76 on the Sherman that was behind us on our position at Arrow-Marche.
Oh,
yeah. I'm going to go play more World of Tanks when I get home.
It didn't have a brake on it.
It didn't have a muzzle brake on it. Gotcha. And this Sherman does have a muzzle brake, so that might have been
and it matches that one.
A 75, not a 76.
Yeah, it does match that one.
Yeah.
Talk about, I mean, that's one of the great things about, you keep hearing about these types of things, is the innovations and just the quick adjustments you have to make. So they said, well, that gun works that way.
Right.
It's not working on the tank. So let's put the gun on the tank.
Yeah.
You know, so you just, I mean, just those battlefield decisions and those adjustments that you make. You know, like hearing the story of the American private who figured out how to cut through hedgerows with tanks rather than have to go over the top of them, right? On the basis of a comment somebody made, and he went, "Wait a minute!" And they took a German road barrier, metal one, flipped it on its end, attached it to the front of the tank, and just mowed through it. Yeah. Just those types of innovations on the basis of necessity, right? And that's the old saying, right? Necessity is the mother of invention. So, and that was needed because the German Panzers were quite good.
Wow, Lazy Beast UK. I'm just going to read this right quick before I missed it. Oh, the Firefly is Tier 6 UK. Thank you. Lazy Beast UK says, my great uncle was the rear gunner of a Lancaster that towed the gliders.
Oh, wow.
And his Lancaster was shot down on June 6th.
Wow.
Yeah. So, Lazy Beast, thank you for sharing that with us there.
Yeah, that's amazing. Now, one of these types probably. So when we get closer to this glider, it's going to be interesting. That thing doesn't look like a
The wings are ridiculous.
Not without power.
Yeah, no.
Okay, there we go. Get it back.
All right.
Are we good, guys?
Back. Let's get a second to recover.
Let me look at something bright.
Yeah, y'all, it looks like we had a cable issue. Y'all called it. We had a cable that came a little bit loose. We were in a massive hurry to get plugged in so that we could get over and speak with a Norwood Thomas, and it looks like one of the cable plugs was not in the exact right position, so as we walked around, it eventually worked its way loose. Should be taken care of now. It was like a half-connected HDMI cable coming out of the camera. So that's what that was. Thank y'all for catching that. I looked down. I don't know how long that was messed up for, but I read Lazy Beasts, and then we walked over here, and it must have been a couple seconds there. All right, wetware error. It's a wetware error. So we were talking about the gliders, and we were talking about this, not only the stealth, but the simplicity of them, and the fact that you didn't need a bunch of engines, you didn't need to fuel them, you didn't need to have a bunch of gauges. Like 90% of the gauges in the aircraft that we saw, like the DC-3, C-47, that was all engine operation stuff. Right? And then you had things like the altimeter and airspeed and that, but you don't need all that in the glider.
You steer.
Yeah, you steer.
And you look at your altitude.
Yeah, exactly.
Looks like you can't go into it.
No, you can just sort of lean into it?
Lean into
I see.
Gotcha. Well, we could definitely send Saber up there and see what we can see. But look how thick the wings are.
I know.
Yeah. And I guess I wonder if the landing gear are probably just fixed.
Yes. Well,
it doesn't look like they fold up. These look like some sort of baffles or something that would open to let it flare or something. You see that, Saber?
Yeah, I don't know.
Look at this. Chat, help us understand what these are. I don't know if that was... Maybe they had gear in there, so you could stow stuff in there and then it would fall out, or...
No, those are fixed, see?
Yeah. Sorry, I mean like equipment for the troops.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Inside the wing. I don't know.
Yeah, chat's gonna help us.
Oh yeah, and did it have landing gear, or did it? Yeah. Did it like just ditch the landing gear? Like when it landed, did it just sort of belly in, or did it try to land with landing gear?
Looks like there's a skid plate on the bottom too.
It does look like it has a big skid plate with a big spring on it.
Yeah.
Oh.
So maybe both? I don't know.
Pretty sure those hatches are for cargo.
Yeah.
Yeah, if somebody can help us understand what these are, because look, they're
hinged.
They're hinged.
I'm looking for a plaque.
A plaque or something. Yeah, we don't see a plaque that explains it, y'all. Okay. We might have to stay under the wing for just a second as the sprinkles on.
Wouldn't be the first time this trip.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All of a sudden, the wind, yeah.
But no engine tests on this one.
That's right.
They were towed into the air by a bungee cord attached to the front.
Right.
It reduces lift, so those flaps help you come down. Dap, dude, that's what I was thinking, if they were some sort of like spoiler almost, and you would open these up and it would reduce the lift so you could sort of drop down instead of having to circle or something.
We got 2 drops of water on the lens.
Do we?
It's like...
Yeah, I see them. Yeah. Here we go.
Hold chat.
I see them.
One near the bottom right,
yep.
kind of center left somewhere.
It's just when you do this, you run the risk of making it worse.
Wait, hang on, wait.
Do we have? Oh, do you have the actual the cloth? Nice.
In my handy dandy side pouch.
Yeah, this is a Horsa glider.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right,
I gotcha.
Close your eyes, chat.
Oh yeah, close your eyes. Squeaky, 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 creaky, 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 creaky. Better?
Looks good.
Hang on. There you go.
There we go. Don't look at me, I don't have my face on.
I don't have my face on. Nice. You got that?
I got it.
All right.
I have one-handed operation, man.
We gotta learn more about this. Here we go. Wikipedia says the wing carried large barn door flaps, which, when lowered, made a steep, high rate of descent landing possible.
I guess that makes sense.
So this would spoil the wing, and it would let them drop out of the sky.
I was wondering if it had some kind of flaps, but
yeah.
there we go.
What about the gear?
Did it? Okay, so here's another question. Did it take off with these big gear, or is this here for display?
I have a feeling that they rolled.
Yeah.
And then came off when they took off.
Yeah.
I wonder if you could like pull the pins and they would drop away or something like that.
No, they do have pins right there.
Because these are all like pins. Saber could probably see them.
Yeah.
They're just straight up a pin, and a pin.
We can
Three
focus.
pins
Hang
on
guys.
those gear.
There's gotta
And then
be a
that big
video.
skid.
Stop, put your head in front of me.
Sorry.
It's okay. Let's try to focus.
The
There we
big,
go.
the big skid on the spring that's underneath. That might be what they actually skidded in on.
There's got to be a video of it.
Yeah.
Surely.
Take off.
Here we go. The Horsa was equipped with a fixed tricycle landing gear, and it was one of the first gliders equipped with a tricycle undercarriage for takeoff. On operational flights, the main gear could be jettisoned, and landing was then made on the castoring nose and wheel and sputtering skid, a sprung skid, yeah. So there's a nose wheel up on the front. If you grab the nose wheel, that would stay, and then the skid. And then in the picture that we saw over there, JD,
Yeah.
all the gliders were tipped over on one wing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why.
So they would come in and skid and then over on one wing. Yeah.
But they've done their job.
Very cool. It's a lot like a U2 in that regard, where the U2 just had the inline two wheels, like a bicycle sort of landing, and it would take off on a carriage.
Yep.
Yeah. That's cool. You saw pictures of the wheels on in flight. That might be possible. I mean, that might be possible. If you're training in them or practicing or something, you might not want them to land on the skid. I guess. I don't know. Yeah, Mutter, thanks for that. I just saw your text there as well. Where should we go next, y'all?
Well, we can go on to the bridge.
Oh, we do want to look inside the glider if we could.
There's actually something over
Still
there.
sprinkling too.
All right.
An original one.
It's an original.
Is it still sprinkled?
Yeah, look at the.
Well, yeah, we want to go in the door.
Yeah,
it's-
yeah.
it just lit up.
Yeah.
So,
Let's
just
see if we
ladies
can.
and gentlemen.
Yeah, because you can stick your head in and you can see clear back.
Wow. It's just got like some sun shower stuff that's coming down, but stay there for just a second.
And then there's an original over there.
I can't believe the camber on these wings. The camber is sort of the thickness of the wing and the difference between the length underneath and the length over the top. They're slow and high lift. They're not trying to go fast. They're trying to go slow and have tons of lift. So, God.
Oh, the whole building.
Oh, all right. How it all works. There you go. Good deal. So we'll, I think we're clear from the sprinkle. So whenever you're ready, we'll hop up here behind the engine. There we go. Oh, I looked up and I'm like, there's somebody sitting in it. Oh, no. It's not somebody sitting in there.
Be real dark. All right, here goes
Here we
the
go.
exposure.
Let's see what we can see inside here.
Lots of room.
You see there.
Well, I can't even see the screen, so Chad will tell us. But there's a lot of benches in here.
Yeah, there's a lot of benches.
A long bench, I should say.
The paratrooper model there.
Cockpit.
And you got a wreath there if you want to capture
Yeah.
what that wreath says real quick. So it looks like somebody may have laid it in.
Yeah. All right, hang on, guys.
Cool.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah, I want to go in there.
Yeah.
I'll let Saber move over.
Thank you.
Thanks, dude. It's just benches all the way in this one.
Yeah.
It was a good view. The no
Thank you.
scoping was good.
Thank you. Well, I did it all day yesterday, so. That's fine.
Oh, all right.
All right, well, there's
There's an entire room.
an original one and then a room.
And then chat has. This is a replica that we're underneath, right? And there's an original part of the fuselage of a Horsa up here. And then, yes, there are bagpipes as well. You're right. It's an authentic section of a Horsa fuselage.
Total length is 20 meters, more than twice. Oh, the total length of the fuselage would be twice this long. So this is half of it.
Yeah, you might be able to get in the end of it there, Saber.
That is wood.
Yeah. Well, was it the gentleman from Sweden who was telling us that it was almost all plywood?
Yeah, almost all plywood.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's an actual interior.
I don't know if I get this close enough. It's gonna be, there we go. That'll block out our reflection
block out
mostly.
the glare.
Wow.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. Your hand actually makes more.
It's just a chunk of wood.
Oh yeah, wow.
Yeah.
It is. Is it mostly wooden?
Yeah, it's almost all wood.
It's like a spruce goose.
It
There's a
is.
few-
It's like
it's a
miniature
wooden-
spruce goose.
There's a few metal parts, but not many.
Yeah. It does. It really does look like a lot of the ribs and stuff like that are actually wood. And the interior of it looks a lot like the construction of the spruce goose. Venturi tubes. These tubes were mounted on top of the fuselage near the cockpit. Air is sucked in through the tube, forced in through the tube, I guess, producing a vacuum to operate gyroscopic instruments. Artificial horizon, the directional gyro, and the turn bank indicator. No kidding. And I think it says these remains, including the data plates or whatever there are, were recovered by local French population after the war as souvenirs. Oh, and there's another thing here. There's underwing storage hatch covers. So that's interesting. This is saying that those storage hatches were not for lift. If somebody was just making that up, it says that the storage hatches actually had the gear in it, which was my first guess. Under each wing, 2 parachute containers could be carried. On landing, the troops would detach the containers from the wing compartments and recover the equipment contained within. Maybe some of them were for lift and then some of them were for equipment stowage, but that right there makes it look like it might have been for equipment stowage. Interesting. Yeah, we don't.
Oop,
Yeah,
3,000 will be right.
3,000?
3,700.
There's no polarizer on the lens. The polarizer is not a very flexible thing to have because it causes glare and stuff like that in some situations. So we don't have a polarizer on there. Yeah, the other thing was from Wikipedia, so maybe both. Yeah, maybe it was both, y'all. Thanks, Propin. I appreciate you. Yeah, that's a good point. A corpse. It's amazing that this much survived. Preservation wouldn't have been the first thing on people's minds.
Yeah. The inside building there.
Yeah.
It's a little compact.
Right.
There's a lot of people in there. It's a little dark, but there is no complete surviving glider
Oh wow.
from the war. None. So this is about as close as you're gonna get.
No kidding.
Yeah. 318 of them landed with the British forces at D-Day.
318.
318 gliders, and the majority of them made it down.
Yep.
The American ones used further to the west had a rougher time. But 500 plus were used in Market Garden. There were a whole bunch of these used, but most of them were destroyed at the end of the war because there was no need for them. Because not long after the war, the helicopter was invented. And so suddenly when you needed to drop troops quickly, you had a better way to do it.
You run in with a helicopter.
Yeah.
All things considered, it's in surprisingly good shape.
Yeah. What?
We could probably tow up a Horsa with our DC-3 in Kerbal.
Oh man.
And then release it and let it glide down. I think I could probably make that happen.
I think that would
That'd be fun.
Do it and then land on one engine.
And then land
on one engine.
We could land the C-47 on one engine. Yeah.
Norwood, can Norwood fly the glider?
Correct one thing.
Oh yeah, sure.
The helicopter was invented during the war, but wasn't very powerful.
Wasn't used during World War II. Right.
And if you look at Where Eagles Dare, the movie,
right,
they have this rescue scene where the helicopter comes into a big castle, and it's complete nonsense because the helicopter didn't exist.
Didn't exist at that time.
It's impossible. But the beauty of the glider was silence.
Yep.
Right.
That's
It
what,
came
yeah.
in absolutely silent. Helicopter. You know, these guys landed just the other side of the bridge.
Right.
See,
the picture.
Absolute silence. The Germans didn't even know they were there.
Yeah.
Until they could hear guys getting out of the plane and making noise. Absolutely brilliant invention.
Yep.
Think about it.
Right.
Yep.
And you look. This is plywood.
There's
no real structure to it.
Yep. Yep.
It's an amazing piece of kit.
It's another reason there's not a lot of them that survived.
That's right.
Because they're not metal structures.
Well, they were designed to crash. For
Yeah.
starters.
They're designed to crash.
And if you look at the photographs, both planes are literally side by side.
Yes.
And they're both.
They're almost
dinged
touching
up.
wingtips.
Yeah.
And
It's an
leaned over
amazing
on.
piece.
Yeah.
And these guys did a fantastic job. And there's a memorial over there. I don't know if you saw it just out there.
I do.
The first guy who died in Normandy.
Right.
And he was the first because these were the first troops on the ground.
Right.
The rest came later, but the first guy who died in Normandy in the liberation, there's a memorial over there. And you think about that.
Yeah.
There's a lieutenant in America.
Gotcha. Thank you. We appreciate it.
Well, it's just one of those things.
Yeah.
I keep telling him my dad was in the parachute mission during the war.
Wow.
But he didn't jump here. He jumped in southern France.
Okay.
And survived. And that's why I'm here.
Oh, yeah.
Excellent.
You think about that. If these guys.
In southern France?
Yeah.
Was he in Operation Anvil?
I don't remember the name of the operation, but he came. He was from North Africa. He was in North Africa with the war going on there. Transferred into the parachute regiment and jumped into Sicily, Crete, Italy, and southern France.
Okay.
And yeah, he had and was bent for time, and he came out of that with a slight wound, but he came out of it and went through the whole thing, demobbed after the war, and I was born just over a year later.
Wow.
So yeah, I tell you what, there's a guy dressed in full uniform in one of the cabinets.
Right.
And he's wearing a sergeant's uniform, a standard issue uniform with his stripes up. But he's got a red beret on them. But Dad wore the red beret during the war.
Right.
But after the war, he rejoined the army and joined the artillery, Royal Artillery. And he wore a black beret. But that guy standing there, whoa, choke up.
Yeah.
Reminded you.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, when I was a kid, that was my dad.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Wow.
These horses were an amazing piece of kit.
Yeah.
And a lot of the pilots, of course, got killed.
Right.
Right.
You know, never made it to the bridge.
Right.
Okay.
Thank
Enjoy.
you. We appreciate
What's the
you.
movie
Yeah.
going on?
Thank you.
We're live streaming actually.
Yeah, we have a card. Yeah, you'll be able to find it online.
There you go.
Yeah.
If I'd realised that.
Yeah, exactly.
She runs an educational nonprofit.
Oh, wow.
Aerospace education, so
Yep.
you can't get it otherwise.
Oh yeah, we know that there's wind out here today, y'all. Again, we're sort of the last day. We really only have about an hour left. Here, we've walked all around the bridge. We could actually go walk onto the bridge. What's up?
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah.
Time flies.
Yeah, the time flies.
Like horses.
But we might actually walk over to the bridge real quick and see what it looks like on it. We also got them a card so they could see the video there. There goes the bagpipes again.
I'm telling you, man, that's gonna be in my head for
It is.
weeks.
Yeah. Oh wow. You love all the random people with these stories. Jangles, exactly. Yeah, that's a really cool thing. It is a really good thing. They didn't go high enough. Yeah, Jangles, gliders wouldn't have gone high enough to worry about cabin pressurization. So you're gliding over on a glider. Remember, the operational ceiling on the DC-3s or C-47s was not the ceiling, I guess, but they would operate around 10 to 12, maybe 13,000. Up there, you're basically on a high mountain, right? You're not at 35,000 like commercial airliners these days, where you would need the cabin to be pressurized to have enough oxygen not freeze to death. But you would fly a lot lower, about a third of the height as commercial flights these days to come in. You wouldn't need the cabin pressurization. Yeah. Thanks for your dad's service, Red Jacket Man. Nice chicken fried. We're giving him a link to the. We have the little cards with the links to the live stream and stuff. I think we're in a funnel here, so probably what we want to do is go back into the sun, and we're just going to step out of this corner because it's funneling the wind on us. Should we go to the bridge?
We should. Yeah,
all right. They're in capable hands with DC-3 Girl.
You want me to switch the cutoff too? I've been keeping it off because of the
Chad, I don't know. Do y'all want the wind cut on or not? I don't know.
It's not given like huge spikes. It's just more of a constant thing.
Like a rumble,
just more like a whine almost.
Yeah.
Because here, just to show you guys the difference, there's not much of one.
Yep.
Immediately. Well, the wind just stopped blowing. Let's see how it goes for you guys.
She doesn't know what this is.
It's right here. There's a sign right here. The Bailey Bridge.
So this one, if you want to get the bridge, I'll read the sign. This one is a Bailey Bridge, and it says in June 1944, many of the bridges crossing the waterways in the area were destroyed during the Battle of Normandy. It was vital to replace these bridges in order to allow the crossing of waterways by troops and vehicles. So they used these Bailey bridges made of steel elements. Each steel element weighs more than 250 kilograms, enabling the bridges to be built quickly. So it's like a prefab bridge setup, I guess. And there were panels on top of it, and there were transoms, and there were roadways. And you would just take these prefab elements, and then you could quickly build a bridge that could carry troops and supplies across a river.
It's amazing.
In a place where a bridge had been destroyed.
It's amazing. The engineering of this war.
Absolutely.
It's just unbelievable. You know, you have this necessity of needing to do something. Yeah, you have this necessity of needing to do something, and so you do it. And it's worth remembering, too, that this invasion happened in 44. The British were thinking about it after the Battle of Britain, right? You had to start thinking about it at some point. If you're going to win the war, you're going to have to land on the continent again. And once the Americans were in the war, of course, it became a reality, right? Winston Churchill breathed a huge sigh of relief when he heard the Americans were going to be entering the war after Pearl Harbor. And so then they had to start thinking about this. So this was a process about 2.5 years in the making of envisioning what was going to be needed. Then, of course, taking photographs of all the sites. We saw those fantastic maps in Duxford of the three-dimensional maps of the landing sites that we had visited. And by the way, we visited those sites.
Yeah,
that's where we were. We were standing in those fields just to kind of connect it all back, right? And
we'll come around this way and get in front of the mic. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And so I think that's what's interesting about this is that you had 2.5 years of planning to make all these things happen and decide what the main points were going to be. And then, of course, you had to be ready to adjust it on the fly once you got on the ground.
Right.
Because the situation might be different than what your intelligence had told you. And depending on what, and you have, the other side is moving around too. The other side's trying to surprise you too. And so it's just remarkable when I see stuff like this, because in peacetime, you don't really need this.
You don't.
You don't.
A quick deploy bridge.
What for?
Yeah.
Right. It's a wartime necessity, and so again, so many things, so many feats of engineering came out of the war because you needed it to fight.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just remarkable to me.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And we know about the wind noise, y'all. One thing you can try is turn down your bass. If you're getting too much from the wind and you can't hear what we're saying, if you cut your bass on your speakers, it makes it a little bit easier to hear in the wind. But we do know that it's windy outside. We're very small. We have JDK and myself, and then we just have a shotgun mic on the camera, so when the wind's not hitting it, you can probably hear us just fine. If a gust hits it, it probably blows out a little bit.
Yeah.
But there's not too terribly much we could do. We're not going to plug in all the audio stuff because we had a shorter stream, and we were go this morning.
Right, we were go this morning, yeah. We've got about an hour until we got to We got to pull.
Gosh.
So, yeah.
Very cool.
Good stuff. We should take a look at the bridge.
We could. There's a little bit of a map of where they place some of the bridges as well, so let's grab that right quick.
Oh, for these bridges, right?
Yeah. So, Bailey Bridge is built between June and August.
This is where we are.
Yeah.
Right now.
So between those two, right? Between Ranville and Meadowville, we're like, this is where the Pegasus Bridge was. Right there. And it's not listed here because Pegasus was a fixed bridge. It wasn't a Bailey, a temporary bridge. But that's where we are, right about there. And then the red lines are where they put all the temporary bridges, like the Baileys that are back behind us here.
Right.
And just think about it. I mean, anytime you're trying to move troops or supplies, you do a good job. You capture Pegasus, right? You have a big major thoroughfare, but you have troops all along here that are trying to move to the other side or going in the opposite direction. Troops here trying to go in this direction. If you just have one place, it's going to be a massive choke point that's going to slow down your logistics, right? So you get these Baileys and you Bailey, Bailey, and you have a lot of places where you can actually cross, as opposed to just one.
Exactly.
Choke
Because if
point.
you have one, after a while, the Germans can just bomb that.
Yes. And if you have a ton of them, they're much harder to take. A lot of these little temporary Baileys out than it is to take out one big fixed bridge.
Right.
And I think the plaque over there said the Baileys could support up to vehicles that weighed up to 70 tons.
Wow.
So
pretty much anything.
If I read that correctly, I want to read it one more time just to make sure.
70 tons.
Yeah, up to 70 tons in weight. Vehicles up to 70 tons in weight.
The longest one was in Holland and measured over 1 kilometer in length.
A kilometer of
kilometer,
these?
yeah.
What?
Over the Maas River. Wow.
Okay. Jeez.
All right.
So let's move up here and actually walk out onto the bridge. And I'm curious, I don't know if we want to do this or not, but we have sort of made a circuit of the museum. The interior of the museum is probably not a great environment for us to go and talk in. It's so crowded today. It might be interesting to walk over and see that building that claims to be the first.
Yeah, on the river.
Because we could go to the river.
River. Yeah, yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah.
You go to the gift shop again.
I think it's a giant gift shop.
Cut her off, chat. Cut her off.
You're done.
Wow.
And this one wreath here is for the Oxfordshire and Buckinghamshire Light Infantry, which is Andy. Yeah, Andy, the reenactor, was reenacting part of the Oxfordshire and Buckinghamshire Light Infantry, who captured the Pegasus and Horsa bridges.
Wow.
Huh. Very cool, y'all. Very cool.
Wow.
You get a sense of scale with the people walking through.
Yeah.
Like you can see the people.
We've walked in so many historical places, in so many spots.
Oh yeah.
You know, just adding a couple more to the list.
So that's not a bad question. Why is the bridge incomplete? The bridge isn't actually incomplete. It's been moved over here to the grounds of the museum. It's replaced by an actual bridge, like a more modern bridge, and then as a historic sort of thing, because of its significance, they've moved it over here to preserve it on see the museum.
And you can see there was a landing in that photo.
Yeah.
There's a huge landing that it
you'll have like footings on either end and in concrete infrastructure around the end where it would actually connect to the land, but that's like part of the land, that's not part of the bridge. This is just about, I believe, the entire bridge from what I can see in the old historical photo over there.
Yeah.
Maybe a little shack on one side of it where they controlled it from or whatever, but yeah. Yep, it was replaced in 1994. There you go.
Yeah, and that's actually out there on the river. And
yep.
We can
walk over there.
Yeah.
I don't sorry. Yeah, we should. Yeah. We should. I don't know the numbers during the taking of the Pegasus Bridge. I can't tell you that there were this many troops involved or this many passed or anything like that. I don't know that number off the top of my head.
Not me neither.
Yeah, that's a Wikipedia sort of thing to look up. Gav, I appreciate what you're saying there. The engineer brigades really need more recognition.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. You get the armored units and the paratroopers and all this sort of stuff, and the infrastructure that supports everybody else, the engineers.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They build the bridges, they maintain the roads, the bunkers, the command post, everything.
In every theater of the war.
The harbors, the mulberries.
Yeah, in every theater of the war.
Mm-hmm.
Did I tell my grandfather's story of the kamikazes?
I don't think so.
Have I done that yet? I don't know.
Yeah.
My grandfather served in the U.S. Marine Corps in the Pacific in World War II, and he was an aircraft mechanic. And so he came ashore. First action he saw was at Okinawa, and he came ashore with mechanics after an airfield had been secured on the coast. And the very first day he got there, he said, "I've taken 3 steps onto the beach, onto the airfield, when 3 kamikaze aircraft hit the runway.
Wow.
In order, boom, boom, boom." And he said, and it terrified him, right? It's his first combat action.
Sure.
Terrified him, huge explosions, right? And the CBs, the combat engineers, were waiting at the end of the airfield, engines running. They came out, bulldozed all 3 of those airplanes to a corner of the field and just let it burn, and patched the runway in 11 minutes. So 3 pilots died for an 11-minute
delay.
Yeah, and that's the first memory my grandfather had was of the engineers. He says, and they just sat at the end of the runways, engines ready to go. They were just on duty waiting for this kind of stuff to happen so they would just come in and fix it.
Wow.
So the air operations wouldn't be disturbed for very long. Yeah. It's crazy. No, so that was a great comment.
That is a great comment about the engineers.
Are the unsung heroes of all this.
Yeah.
Because they're the ones who make it possible for reinforcements to get where they need to go, for logistics to operate, for medicine to get to locations. I mean, it's to fix stuff that's from attacks. I mean, that's what they did. The units themselves couldn't do that on their own.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's good stuff. Yeah.
Krylani says like scraping bugs off a windshield.
Right.
Yeah.
On the runway. Like there you go.
Pretty much.
Yep.
And I mean, and you know, my grandfather always said it was the first lesson of the cost of war too. You had 3 human lives. Dead.
Yep.
You know, because for an 11-minute delay.
11-minute delay.
Yeah. And he always said his whole life when he told me that story, he'd just shake his head and go, "What a waste."
Yeah.
What a waste. You know. So. Yeah. All right. Well, we've done the full circle.
I think we have. We've done the full circle here, y'all.
We bought everything in the gift shop. So.
We bought everything in the gift shop. Yeah, the CBs. I've got an uncle, Vanguard. I've got an uncle that was a CB in Vietnam. So we need to get him on here sometime. Maybe tell him some of his stories if we ever do a Vietnam-related thing.
Oh man.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
God.
Oh.
As I understand it, the engineers often worked with armored bulldozers.
They did.
They're different kits for their equipment.
Remember we saw at Duxford, we saw a tank with a bulldozer.
Yeah, a tank with a bulldozer on the front.
That was cool.
That's right.
Yeah.
Cool.
So there's when we did Marine Week and we spoke with the Marines, they had a bunch of their engineers' equipment there, and they were talking about the different up armor variants of their bulldozers. So there's a regular bulldozer and there's an up armor bulldozer, so you can work in not so much an area where somebody's firing rockets at you, but if somebody's taking pot shots at you with rifles and stuff, somebody's trying to just disrupt the operations, they have an up armored variant which is all bulletproofed and has extra padding on the side, plating on the side.
Wow.
So. All right.
Should we wander out into the town?
Yeah, let's wander out into the town. I think, y'all, as we walk through the museum proper, we're probably going to go to the donor screen. It is really, really, really crowded inside, and instead of trying to push through with the camera, we'll walk over here. When we get to the door, we'll go to the donor screen, probably for 3 or 4 minutes, maybe 5, and we're going to walk out to the street, then we'll turn it back on and we'll walk up to the actual river and see what claims to be the first building liberated during D-Day.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's like verified or not.
I don't know either.
They probably have a plaque.
But it's in some of the books that I've seen.
It's in some of the books?
Yeah.
All right. So that's going to be the plan. We're just going to walk over here and we'll go to the donation screen because we're able to come out here because of y'all's donations. Your generous support. It's been an amazing week. I'm not going to be able to say enough about that. But
yeah, we can't thank you.
There's nothing that I can say to convey that. But let's start going. And,
okay.
In the front, he was closest.
And with this thing.
So we got far enough away that I can't actually control the scenes.
Oh, okay.
So I was going to do like a cut to...
Yeah, I just wanted a cinematic sort of outro kind of thing. Well, not outro, but...
Let's just step over this way because now I got to reconnect. Just a second. So there's still going to be video here, but I'm trying to switch scenes.
Sorry, I tried to do something artsy.
It's all good. I realized exactly what you're doing, then I got over here to switch the scene, and I was like, no, I can't switch. I'm trying to do it right in time.
Right.
There we go.
Settling in. I am recording.
Cool.
Signal's
It looks
good.
like we have bitrate too. Chad, are we back? Like, is this working? Yes. Anyways, Saber's also the mobile relay. Yeah, no, okay, yeah, we know. We didn't switch to the donor screen as quickly as we thought because I walked far enough away from Saber that I didn't have internet off the backpack because I'm using the modems in the backpack, and I couldn't actually change the scene to the donation scene. So it's like, all right, wait, are we still live? What's wrong? Anyways, y'all, we're back, and we've just walked over to the actual river right here. So if you look over this way, this is the Orne River that the Pegasus Bridge was over, and the bridge that we were at had been relocated, like we said, and they have this new bridge here. It's still a lift bridge, but it's a. I mean, it looks the same. It's bigger.
It looks bigger.
Yeah, it's bigger, but it's like the same design.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can see that, somebody asked earlier why the bridge was so small.
Yeah.
You can see the concrete connectors that come out from the land.
Oh yeah, you can.
They exist on both sides, so the bridge is a little bit shorter.
So it's like they took the old bridge away and then just put a new bridge in its place.
Put a new one in.
Huh.
I guess a historical artifact, right?
Yeah.
I
guess
artifact.
so.
But this is you can consider this river the boundary of the Normandy beach front, because this is the natural barrier between this side and that side.
And the Allied landings.
Yep. So the Germans would have been on that side.
Right.
They seized this bridge so that the Germans couldn't bring stuff across this bridge to reinforce the defenses.
Right.
And then eventually, when the Germans were being pushed back on all fronts, this was the avenue they used to send stuff across.
Send stuff back across.
To start moving into further north into France.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So this is kind of a big
It's
spot.
kind of a big deal, yeah. That's why we ended up here today. We know that it's super windy, and yeah.
You have to come see a really cool map.
Oh, we have to come see a really cool map as well.
Okay.
Speaking of engineer, earlier you were an engineer in Iraq. Feist says built a runway on one of the bases and had to make our own vehicle armor to drive from Kuwait to Iraq.
Wow.
So his engineering unit had to make its own vehicle armor.
Wow. It'd be cool to see what that looks like.
It's better than the librarian unit having to do that.
Yeah. Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
if
If you got pictures of any of that, that'd be cool to see.
Yeah. Wow.
We'll see. Thanks for your service too.
Probably, yeah, absolutely. Probably wider, better load rating on the bridge, I guess you're talking about. So,
Right. Yeah.
we are starting to wind things down here. There's a cool map we want to see over here. So let's go and
do you
look
want
at
to
the
point
map.
out that house over there?
Yeah, yeah. Let's
Oh, yeah,
the
the
map.
map
Map go look at the house.
It's on here.
Oh, it's on here?
This is like, yeah. Map would be such a strong word for what we're about to
Oh,
do. But
okay.
It's on the very top.
Oh, the top of it.
Yeah, so you have to really get close. But
Oh, it's like a really tactical map.
right, oh, right.
Yeah. So it shows the bridge right here. And this is the it says this is a canal, I guess, right?
Yeah.
It says canal, yeah. And then there's the Pegasus Bridge right there, and it actually shows where the gliders landed.
Okay. All right. So then this is the canal connected to the Orne. The Orne is one more over.
Is the Orne, the actual river is one more
actually
up.
over there. This is the canal in between. Okay.
Gotcha.
Okay. So
there's the cannon that was over there.
There's a cannon.
Yep, we saw that.
There's a church.
There's a church back that way a
Over
little
there.
ways.
And then this cafe.
Yeah, there's a cafe.
which claims it's on the other side of the bridge. The gliders landed here. That's literally right behind where Saber's standing. The gliders landed here. They seized the bridge, and then when they came across, this was the first building. This cafe was the first building liberated on D-Day. And that's right there. That little corner, red bricked element right along the road there.
Yeah, we'll get a better shot of it. There's a bit of a shrubbery in the way from the map here.
Shrubbery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder what they removed.
Yeah, I don't know.
I wonder what they removed.
Oh, see, here's the gliders.
Yeah.
They got 3 gliders.
Yeah. It is, and they've actually, if we turn the camera around, there are markers where the gliders landed.
That's right.
So the accuracy of the landings of those gliders, that picture that we saw, there were 2 gliders in that picture that were right there. And so their objective was to take this bridge, and this is their starting point, and it's not 100 yards from where they landed to the bridge.
And I can't help but wonder if that water feature wasn't there.
Yeah.
If it was, that's incredible
They
flying.
landed on that little strip of land. I don't know. Huh.
Yeah, but it's this is quite an interesting little spot. I mean, there's.
This would have been where technically the invasion started.
It started right here.
This was the site of the first death in Normandy.
Yeah,
the Normandy.
The first Allied death in Normandy was right here.
Yeah.
Yep. And then the first building liberated. The first objective reached. This is the firsts. So we're kind of finishing up with firsts.
We're finishing up with where it all started, I guess.
Yeah.
It just, I mean, imagine like the first thing, correct me if I'm wrong, the first thing that happened were those gliders landed.
Yeah.
So the first troops in weren't paratroops.
Well, they were coming in at the same time.
They were coming in at the same time.
All part of the same wave.
Right, okay.
Right. Yeah.
But the gliders landed over here.
Yep.
Like gliding in silently, because that's the entire point of the gliders, right? And then they had to get their gear out and come over here and secure this bridge, and then everything else all of a sudden just starts to hit the fan.
Everything else hits the fan, yeah, because the areas we were in are further, let's see, I'm trying to get my bearings.
Yeah?
Further that way. Okay, so that's where Sanderville's further that way.
Right.
So they're landing there, right? They knew they needed to sneak in troops to seize this bridge before anything else happened, because if you can imagine, they don't seize this bridge. Those paratroopers drop in down here.
Right.
The Germans can roll reinforcements across this bridge and
roll over the paratroopers who can't carry the big tanks and stuff like that. They'd have light tanks, light guns, whatever.
Right. So
but not.
Right. So the full extension here would be put glider troops here because you can't hear them coming.
Yep.
Right. And because if the paratroopers are flying in planes that can be heard and spotted and shot at, the gliders can be launched further back.
Right.
And so there's no awareness.
Right. And they just silently glide in and skid to a stop on the ground.
Exactly.
Right here.
Right here.
Get out. Take the bridge.
The bridge is right there. I mean, even if they would have landed way over there, it's still pretty amazing, right, to get this close.
They landed at night.
At night.
How did the gliders know where to?
I don't know. That's crazy.
I could throw a baseball from where the glider landed and hit the bridge.
Hit the bridge, you could.
I mean, I'm not like a baseball star or anything, but I could throw a baseball.
It is when you hear that something is a stone's throw away.
Yeah.
This is a stone's throw away.
Yeah. It looks all right. So I'm going to point this out. It looks like we might actually be able to see the bridge operate because there's a sailboat coming. Yeah. And we know that the wind is like crazy windy right now. I hope it's not too bad. It's just we're in the open. There's no wind breaks at all right here. It just is what it is. We work in the environment that we are given. It's a beautiful sunny day with little puffy clouds. It's not raining on us, but the wind is definitely a thing. Maybe the wind is actually blowing the rain away. So
it looks like there's a memorial there to the first trooper killed.
There is?
Is that who that is? DC2
Is that
girl?
what that is?
Okay, yeah. First man killed in Normandy.
Wow.
Yeah. First man killed in Normandy.
Gosh.
Yeah. Wow. So
this has just been a trip, y'all.
It has been.
And I mean that like in many different uses of the word trip, but this has definitely been an absolute trip.
Yeah, staggering. Staggering. We were commenting on it earlier. We've walked in so many historically significant places. Pretty much every place you walk here is significant because battles were fought across all the fields, and all the hedgerows, and all the small towns, in the streets. So even though we went to all these various battle sites that we showed you, everywhere we were going over here was historically significant, right? In that sense, had combat that happened on it. Sure enough.
Yeah, look, they're clearing off the bridge because there is a sailboat. Look at the sailboat real quick. It's not sailing right now, but it looks like it has a sail mast on it.
It definitely needs the bridge to come.
Yeah, so that's why.
Yeah, there's one right behind you.
Yeah, so we actually get to see the bridge go up.
Right?
Yeah, should we get closer? Or can you fit the whole thing in the shot?
I can fit the whole thing in the shot here.
All right, cool.
If people don't mind me covering the map briefly.
Yeah, you're fine. Here we go, tripod saber, activate.
Go ahead, wave, DC3 girl. Hey.
Oh, the gate went down on the far side of the bridge there. Get all the pedestrians off of it. Those guys need to hustle. Unless they want to treat it like a big slide. Another treat. We just happened to be here, and the bridge is actually going to operate. Yep. So again, this is not Pegasus Bridge. This is near the location of Pegasus Bridge, but this is an upgraded bridge that they put here in the 90s. So we were at the actual Pegasus Bridge, that first objective of D-Day there, and they moved that actual Pegasus Bridge piece of equipment into the museum grounds over there, and then they've replaced it with this I guess larger bridge that has a higher capacity or whatever. Yeah, it's the Pegasus Mark II. Yeah, and chicken fried noodles, we will go over there and sort of end on that, you know. Yeah, as an aside to the wind, landing accurately in similar wind conditions, I would think even in addition to being shot at, it was a white knuckle ride on the gliders.
Oh, it had to have been.
Yeah.
Had to have been.
I didn't verify it, but earlier somebody said the paratroopers didn't like the gliders because they'd rather just jump out of an airplane and have their own parachute,
right,
as opposed to being in the glider.
Control their own fate.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah.
I didn't verify that. I don't know if that's true or not, but you know, one of those maybe urban legend sorts of things. Look at the guy on the boat.
He's like, can you hurry, please?
He's just like, chug, 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 chug. Dude, we could get a stream boat.
Oh.
What if we just lived on a boat?
That's true.
And then like
just sailed up places?
Yeah. We would need a Jeep on the boat.
You would.
That we could, yeah.
You would. So you could drive off.
Oh yeah, and here's some statistics Demon Engineer put into chat. Of the 181 men, which was 139 infantry, 30 engineers, and 12 pilots of D Company involved in the capture of the bridges, 2 were killed and an additional 14 were wounded. And the German losses were not known.
That's obviously for the 2 who were killed,
Yeah.
That's terrible, but in the big scheme of things, that's really light casualties.
Yep. I hear some machinery starting to wind up in the bridge. I think the bridge is going to start.
Yeah, this guy's sailboat is zigzag.
There it goes. Look at that massive counterweight, JD.
Wow.
That. So the big box on the upper right-hand side that has all the girders and structure around it, that has the proper lever arm and the proper mass to counteract most of the weight of the bridge. So when you move it, you're really just rocking it on a pivot point there. You're not actually lifting much of the mass of the bridge. The gravity pulling on that massive box, which is usually filled with concrete, counteracts the weight of the bridge. So it's literally just, I'm not going to say I go over there and pick it up with my hand, but it's a lot easier for the electric, it sounds like, equipment to lift the bridge up. You could build that in KSP.
For a glider to fly underneath.
Oh, and that's right, the cab isn't actually rotating. The control cabin up there in the middle isn't actually rotating, if that's what that is. I mean, this other structure may be a better control tower.
It's sliding though.
Yeah, it's going back on rails that must be up on those 2 horizontal pieces.
Is that Jeff? Alright, you got plenty of room.
It's like, I think you can make it now.
Yeah. You're not a battleship. You can get through there.
So I wonder, does that thing, does it only go part of the way up? Certainly does it go all the way straight up? It'll be interesting to see. Well, the grease on the rockers looks like it may go to 90 degrees. Go on, sailboat, that'll do. You'll squeeze under. Nice gab. Wow. The top of that bridge is way up there.
Yeah, it is.
Wow. That's really cool how the cabin slides backwards. And the counterweight comes down, and then note that the actual roadway of the bridge goes up. It's such a weird perspective to see a road in. Like, I mean, it's clearly a road, it just looks like it wants to go to space. It's the road to the stars, the skies, whatever.
Add Astra per asphalt?
Add Astra per asphalt. Oh no. Now it's a rocket launch ramp. I mean, it looks like it's going to go all the way to 90 degrees. We got 2 sailboats going through.
This guy's making a run for it.
That looks about the maximum movement, so maybe 85 degrees. Wow, and that sailboat just goes through all of a sudden. We're jumping into Willie's. Well, them field trip boys are at it again.
Freeze frame.
Freeze frame. With the Willie's Jeep jumping the Pegasus Bridge.
That's all.
With Saber on the back of the camera. Me holding on in the front.
We need a Frenchman going, be careful!
Be careful!
Want to come?
Want to come?
Want to come? Maybe not, if we're jumping the bridge. There's no suspension in those Jeeps, so landing would be killer.
Quite the end of the virtual field trip.
It would.
Just hanging on to the end.
Yeah. Oh. There goes the other sailboat too. Wow, that looks nice. Look at that. So in the canal here, they're under their motor power. They don't even have the sails out. A little difficult to sail in a river, I guess. It's this narrow. This is a canal, I guess. Hey, Aaron Ava, have a good trip home. Thanks for keeping us visit. Thanks for letting us all visit this with you. Still wired feeling as a German. Thanks anyways. Weird feeling as a German. Gotcha. Yeah, thank you for coming along with us there, Aaron Ava. We're proud to be able to have shared this with you. Wait, the Pegasus Bridge was codenamed Ham. And the Horsa Bridge was codenamed Jam. So it was Ham and Jam.
Ham and Jam.
Ham and Jam. I didn't know that.
The new shake and bake?
The shake is the new shake and bake. Ham and Jam. Oh yeah. So y'all, we are going to come to a close here. We will end with a shot of that, but we'll go ahead and do our talking here. Then Saber will go over there and take the camera down to the memorial for the first soldier who lost their lives in the Normandy
John
area.
Roberts.
Yeah. So we will do that, but yeah, it's going down again. Yeah, it's going down again. Anyways, I mean, we got the flags or we got the bridge going down, like.
Yeah.
It's a toss-up as to which one's cooler.
Given this trip, I would say the flags.
Yeah, the flags.
Anyways, y'all, we're gonna go ahead and end our virtual field trip here. We've been out here for I don't even know how many days.
It's
all the days.
I think we've been here for 3 days, 4 days.
Here on this side for 3 or 4 days.
We've been on this side for 4 days, I think.
And then we were up in Duxford for 3 days as well.
Yeah.
It's been a whirlwind trip.
Oh man. It's been a month and a week as far as
a month and a
covered.
week.
Yeah.
That's a good way to say it. Every day, certainly we're prepared, right? We have our gear, our batteries are packed up or charged up, our modems are working, our solo's ready to go. We set the titles and everything like that, but just about every morning we've been more flexible than organized. We were prepared, but being prepared with all of our stuff let us be really flexible with this trip. So every day we sort of had an idea of something we might want to see, but based on the weather and based on the traffic and based on road closures and heads of state coming in and that sort of stuff, we played it by ear just about every single day, and I think it
worked out.
It worked out pretty well.
It worked out pretty well.
Every day that we came out to a location here in Normandy with the camera, we were able to capture something awesome. in beautiful locations. We saw aircraft fly over. We drove on the beach in a Jeep. We spoke with the 101st veteran here this morning. Everything we did was on the fly, but everything worked out wonderfully.
It worked out, yeah. I think we put ourselves in places where good things could happen.
Yes.
And we put ourselves in places that were historically significant, that we knew you guys would be interested in, or knew that once you knew why it was interesting, would find it really interesting.
Yeah.
And we discovered a lot. I discovered a lot. I've been reading about this stuff, studying this stuff for a lot of years now, and I learned a ton on this trip. And that never stops, right? I mean, lifelong learning is literally lifelong. And to come to somewhere like this and kind of show you guys this and hopefully inspire you to not only come here, but to recognize that the world is a big place. History's even bigger in a lot of places. You have absolutely maybe not even know what's right outside your door to go out and discover that might be significant and exciting, and maybe something you want to be a part of. And so that's kind of what we like to do on these things, is to kind of get you thinking about things around you and maybe adding some things to your bucket list. So hopefully all of you out there, if you have not been here yet, are thinking about making a trip here yourself, because there really is no way to really beat it.
Yeah.
You know, being here in person.
I mean, come here. No, not everybody can come to France, come to Normandy. There are museums all over the world. There are historic sites all over the world. Like JD said, the world is a big place, and there's a lot to see. So go take a weekend or something like that. Take a day and go to a local museum. Go there, see artifacts, see locations, just sort of get a sense of gravity of events that happened, at whatever they are. You know, they don't have to be battlefields even. They could just be historic sites for one reason or another, an old mill or something, right?
Yep.
And when you go there, talk to people.
Yeah.
Everybody we've talked to randomly has been so fantastic.
Yeah.
And they didn't have to be official people, they didn't have to be reenactors, just a random guy who had a bit of information that he wanted to share because he's an enthusiast about it too.
Yeah.
You can't know everything. There are going to be people who have different opinions in some places, and have different information, have different facts, have different viewpoints even. And if you can go out and you can sort of just absorb some of that, you're going to be a better person for it.
Yeah, and we
you're
find
going to be more enriched.
I've been really reminded that we have so much more in common.
Yeah.
Between ourselves than we do
Absolutely.
differences, and the differences are only in a lot of cases, not all, but a lot of cases, only as big as we make it.
Right.
And or only as big as we allow to be, and we get to decide how we want to respond to people who disagree with us. Right? We live in an era where disagreement seems to be almost always with anger and frustration and dividing up and listening to our echo chambers, and we have not seen that here. We have seen people here who are so grateful that everyone is out here for a shared experience.
Oh, wow.
People who live here who are still grateful 75 years afterwards and still remember and honor the sacrifices made. That's a wonderful reminder and model of what happens when people get along and decide to work on something together, rather than focusing on all the things, because there's always things that make us different. But by focusing on those, we lose a lot of opportunities to see what's possible.
Yeah, we were driving here this morning, and there was the local grocery store. And on the grocery store, there was a banner that said, "Welcome our liberators."
Yeah.
75 years later, and there's a banner that they put out on the grocery store.
And all the flags.
All the flags and all the decorations, and the banner on the grocery store said, "Welcome our liberators." So we felt nothing but welcomed here. As we visited Normandy, as we visited France. So it's really been a fantastic experience.
It's been amazing. And a lot of the wrangling, you know, talk about setting yourself up for success. It really helps when you have a wrangler.
Yes, it really does help when we have a wrangler.
Yeah.
You can just feel a man back there.
Yeah, okay.
No, but
we have to get
we're referring to DC3 girl over here, all the amazing opportunities that she's sort of set up. I mean, I guess what's the saying? Luck is preparation meets opportunity.
Yes.
And we had our preparation because we trusted our gear. Saber knows what he's doing. We sort of trusted that we would be able to get this live stream here, so we provided the preparation. DC3 girl provided the opportunities by literally just talking. Hey, you want to come talk to the camera?
By not taking no for an answer.
I'm not taking no for an answer. I mean, the 60 seconds to DC3, like, we should make a movie about that. DC3 in 60 seconds.
And then it just happened to be the owner and pilot of the plane and his co-pilot.
Who was sitting in the van with us.
Yeah.
So just so many different things. I know that we've been able to experience a lot of really awesome things here. I'm glad we were able to share these experiences with you, and I hope that you take some inspiration, not just to learn about what we've done here, but be inspired to create your own cool experiences.
Yeah.
Right? Like I said, go to a museum or something like that. Go and talk to somebody and just sort of absorb the world around you. I mean, it's fun to watch videos, it's fun to sit and stare at the TV or something like that, but there's a lot to do out here.
There is.
I can't stress enough.
No, when we get home and once we get over our jet lag and kind of get resettled, I'm going to be putting up a big reflection piece that I'm going to write up and I'm going to put on my website. !JDK, you guys can go there.
There you go.
See my website, read about Crella's Inferno, my novel that takes place in a world where D-Day failed, and explores that story. But I have a blog there that I haven't touched since I got here. I just literally have not had time.
Yeah.
And so I'll certainly be putting social media posts out. But I'll let Dos and Saber know about that, and so you guys can go there.
We have lots of relevant video about what you're going to be talking about.
Yeah, we have a lot of
pictures that y'all haven't seen.
We're going to put something up, so stay tuned for that on the other end, because I know I personally am going to need a little bit of time to kind of absorb all of this.
Just digest it.
To digest it all. So yeah.
So we're going to do the NASCAR thing too.
Yeah.
I say the NASCAR thing. You saw our flight jackets, we got patches on it. We're able to come out and do these sorts of events primarily because of y'all. You show up to the streams, you pay my paycheck, you sub to the channel and stuff like that. You donated to Vectors over $10,000 to Vectors, which is the 501c3 nonprofit in support of these virtually engaging events like this, particularly the field trips. We're able to come out here and do this through the generous support of Twitch viewers like you. PBS it up a little bit too. You like that?
Well done.
Yeah.
Well done.
But all joking aside, I said it when we were doing the fundraising. It's not just the financial support, but it's the trust that y'all show to our team, that you trust us to support us to come out here and produce this sort of, produce is such a weird word, just share this sort of content, right? And I appreciate it because last I checked, we couldn't pay United Airlines with trust. So the financial support is definitely important.
Yeah.
But every night when I go to sleep, I'm humbled by the trust that you put in us to come and share this with you.
Yeah.
So I cannot express how much I appreciate y'all. This is why I just keep running my mouth. This is all I know how to do.
Run it, man.
It is. JDK, it's been fantastic having you here as well.
Awesome.
Like,
great.
Just
thanks so much.
The time and having the expertise and
time of my life.
Giving me time to step off camera and fix something right quick.
Yeah, it's truly been one of the best experiences of my life. And it's my big introduction to this community.
Oh yeah.
And introduction to these options and these possibilities. And I have had so much fun just being a part of it and learning all about it and getting the questions from people in real time is just the best.
Yep.
You know, and getting the pictures
it's
and
just
the
such a tool.
It's so amazing.
Like a powerful tool.
It's so amazing. I've had an absolute blast. We need to do something like this again.
Absolutely.
And it'll be a lot of fun.
I don't think it's the last time we'll see you on camera.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Thanks. And thanks so much to chat for all of your support and questions and clarifications and helping me track down information.
Yep.
It's really helped me kind of be able to keep my eyes open and stay contemplative and think about stuff that hopefully sharing perspectives with you on some of these things.
Yeah.
I was able to do that because I was able to free up some bandwidth because of your participation. So
and I don't want to speak for you, but you've got a PhD in modern history, 20th century.
20th century
right?
history, yeah.
I would imagine that you've probably learned some things.
I have.
Out here.
I have.
Right? So the guy with the PhD is still learning things as well. So this is a point that I like to make, right? It doesn't matter if you're not an expert in something.
That's right.
It doesn't matter if you don't already know every rivet that was on every aircraft and know this gun was actually the 76mm. You don't have to be that person to enjoy this. And you don't have to be that person to be a part of the community.
No.
You just have to. You don't have to be a person, I guess. Dogs can join. I don't care.
Nope.
I bet some nice ones.
But everybody, all levels of interest, all levels of enthusiasm, all levels of knowledge, all ages, everybody can participate in this.
Absolutely.
And we don't want anybody to ever feel like, oh, I don't want to say anything because that's a dumb question. People will make fun of me. I hope that that's never the vibe that you get from us.
Yeah. It should never be the vibe you get from me. I have no trouble answering any questions from any level.
Yeah.
And frankly, there's times I don't know the answer.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think it's one of the most important things I've learned is to know when to say I don't know.
Yeah.
And the stuff that I've learned, it's been more factual information and more names and places, but everywhere I go, I learn more human things.
Right.
And to me, that's what's really interesting. The human story, the emotions we've seen, the togetherness, that's what really stands out to me. The facts I can find anytime I need it.
There's a Wikipedia article or something.
Right. The human knowledge, the connectivity knowledge is really what I enjoy these days. And we got so much of it on this and so much of it in this process. So it was an absolute blast. My pleasure.
It absolutely was. Again, y'all, JDK win again. It's the first time I met you when we got here. Right. Like we didn't even talk on the phone.
Nope.
You met him shouting at each other at the airport.
He saw the guys with the camera and the backpack, and he's like, "You looking for Julia?"
That was my welcome.
Yeah, that was how we met each other
welcome.
at Duxford on the airstrip at Duxford.
Yeah. So awesome.
Hey, other things, y'all. Like I said,
I'm gonna step off so you can say your goodbyes.
No, it's all good.
So all right.
Other
Thanks,
things, the equipment that we use, live view. Thank you so much for supporting us again. I've said it over the course of the field trip. I was confident to come out here on this sort of big ticket event because I had faith that we'd be able to get that live view solo getting a quality stream. The cameras and everything, all the gear that we use, we've used it on all sorts of stuff, and just the experience with it and the knowledge that we could trust the live view solo to do its job out here is one reason that I roll the dice to come out and do this trip, right? So live view, for the equipment and for the products y'all make, the live view solo that makes this whole thing possible with our tiny team with a budget that's nowhere near the regular news teams and stuff like that, right? That's one reason that this is possible, is because we trusted that equipment was going to work and do its job and bring some cool video footage to you. So live view solo, live view, the equipment we use, I can't say thank you enough. I would not have been confident come out here with a cell phone and, oh yes, and here we are, check us out, we're live streaming from a cell phone or something, isn't the same as the setup we've got here. So also thank you for the financial consideration, the actual money that you gave us. The equipment is one thing, but the money actually really did help us with that match you did. So live view, massively appreciate you. Also, Unlimited IRL, all 4 of our modems, since we got the first day, the modems troubleshot, ready to go. We got over here, we plugged them in. We had to fix one thing because we had an IP address conflict that couldn't be tested until we were actually here in Europe. All week long, I pressed the button, all 4 modems boot up, and we had a good signal all day long. We had to go inside of a German bunker to lose signal. That's where we lost signal. In one of those bunkers, we actually walked through because the door opening was big enough to let the signal inside. So all over the course of the trip, everywhere we've gone here, we've had fantastic signal from the Unlimited IRL modems. Unlimited IRL, thank you all so much. Same sort of thing. If I had flown over here and I didn't have somebody that I trusted saying, yeah, we have streamers that use these over there, we know that this will work. If I didn't have that, I would have been a lot less confident to even start accepting donations to say we could do this trip. So a big shout out for Unlimited IRL as well on the 4 modems you're using. If you have any more technical questions about the modems or about Unlimited IRL or about the live view solo, feel free to ask me in my Discord. I might not be answering questions right now because we're sort of doing the outro, but I'm always available. My email address, !email in chat, we'll get that. If you go to Discord, I can answer questions as well. I want to enable more people to do what we've been doing the last week. Because the world, like we said, the world is a big place. We love it, but we can't go everywhere. And the more people we have sharing these sort of real experiences with people, the better off it's going to be, wherever they get sent to. So anyways, y'all, there's JDK's URL. Yeah, right there. There's JDK's URL. You can click on the link to go to his website.
Thanks in advance.
Yep, there's the email right there. Also, there's the email. I'm just scrolling through really quickly. You capture the feel of everything so much better than any news crew could ever do. Wow, thank you, Eshop. Thank you so much for saying that. I mean, I know that sometimes we're like, I don't know, turn the camera, dive at it, whatever. Like, that's our vibe, but that's us. That's us. We're wrong sometimes because I yelled Spitfire. I'm like, what? It's a Spitfire, and it's like, no, it's a Mustang. But just we're prepared and we trust our gear and stuff like that. But we do get excited because we're real people. So, anyways, yeah, can't trust that cloud OBS. Nice. Big thanks to everyone, Nerdium. This has been absolutely amazing. It really has. JDK, want to go to a rocket launch?
Yeah.
All right, JDK wants to go to a rocket launch. We can set that up. Hey, I'm just going through the entire list here. Saber on the camera. Saber has been running the camera the entire week, y'all, and Saber's done a fantastic job as well. I actually, hang on, look, I'm stealing the camera from you right quick. Look, I got it. Look. Oh, you're clipped in,
yeah,
actually. Can you
in.
unclip? It's
Fine.
okay. I'm pointing the camera at you, dude.
Fine.
Look, right here, we've got, I don't have enough run.
Here, let me do it.
Let me do it.
I'll show myself.
You don't have enough cable
hey,
to do it.
no, I could go over here. Hey, what's up, everybody?
Let me show myself.
You're disrupting my work.
You're disrupting my work. Y'all, give a massive amount of thanks to Saber in chat.
Thank you, everyone.
Please. Because all of
There
the
you go.
gratuitous zooms and the aircraft tracks and all that sort of stuff was absolutely positively fantastic. So yeah, there you go, Saber. There's a whole lot of hearts in
Thanks,
chat
guys.
for Saber. I was just gonna, and then the cable was too short, and I'm like,
Yeah.
give me that. Oh wow, hey, mods, we gotta thank the moderators too. All the mods that have been changing the lower third, answering questions in chat, putting up links when we're like !JDK, and then all of a sudden in chat there's a clickable link that you can pop over. Looking up things and stuff like that. Everything across the board. You can't have a good stream like this without mods. So a massive thanks to all the mods that actually woke up at ridiculous hours. Absolutely ridiculous hours. Because of our time zone versus their time zones and stuff. So massive thanks to the mods as well. Who else did I miss? I probably missed, did I miss anybody? I think we got everybody. Saber, the mods.
Thanks, Doc.
I'm me. It's okay. I had too much fun to accept any thanks for this. So it really was a blast, and we will have to do this sort of stuff again. Virtual field trips. There's a siren coming. No, they heard us. They caught us, chat. We might have to get out of here now. They're coming across the bridge. Raise the bridge real quick. No, but for real, I'm gonna do one more thing. I'm gonna say thank y'all one more time for our experience yesterday. It is a siren coming across. Y'all were fantastic when we walked through the cemetery yesterday. I said thank you so much for not being Twitch chat for. There was almost 40 minutes that we walked through there.
Almost, yeah.
And y'all are a fantastic community, not just from the support and stuff like that, but just from the way you conduct yourself whenever we're here trying to share this stuff with people. We had couple thousand people watching, and just, you wouldn't have thought it was Twitch chat. You thought it was like post-moderated or something, where all the bad comments had already been filtered out because chat was so amazing. Look, Saber, you gotta get it.
Military truck.
It's military trucks crossing the bridge. It looks like a tow truck. Huh. All right, well, if they're coming to pick us up, I'm okay with this.
We gotta get these guys to Paris.
Yeah, we gotta get these guys to Paris, stat. That is where we're headed next, y'all. We've got to pack up our gear and reorganize everything, pad the cameras and stuff, get in the car. We got about 3 hours to get back to Paris. We're getting on a train, we're riding to London, we're spending the night in London. I've got a flight at 6 a.m. tomorrow so I can get back to my family. So that is what our plan is. There will be no more streams right now. So this is the end of the virtual field trip. So one more time, I don't have like a written sign off or anything like that. I'll just say thank you one more time for making this possible and letting us do this event and share it with you, and just literally have this as a part of our lives, I guess. And that's it. Yeah. So from all of our crew here, as the siren heads down the road with the military convoy sort of leaving us here, I'm just gonna say thank y'all one more time, and later, nerds. Good field trip. Good field trip.
you were going to, weren't you? I talked you out of it.